good evening, my lovely lost tales, and welcome back to the Blue Rose Respite for my whimsical Wednesday stream. How are you all doing, my lovelies? I saw the poll that was being run earlier, just checking in with each other of how's everyone's hump day doing, and 50% of you were saying you're hoping it's Friday soon, and 50% of you, I think it was something along the lines of I'm managing as best I can, and both of those options are 100% okay. Thank you all so very much for being here, because tonight we are continuing Vampire Therapist, and as we've been doing across this month so far, this stream included, I'm raising funds for the UK charity Mermaids, a wonderful LGBTQIA+ charity that supports trans and non-binary youths here in the UK, helps give them resources they need, as well as helps out their loved ones, and really helps provide them with resources that they need for a bright and wonderful future, as well as helping with self-realization. So thank you all so much to everyone who has donated so far. It is absolutely incredible. We're a bit over a third of the way through the month, and we are pretty much like 3/4 of the way through raising about £200 towards this charity. So thank you all so much to everyone who's donated already. You have no idea how much this means to me. Thank you so much. And how are you doing, my lovelies? Are you doing good? I'm feeling myself with this look tonight. Like, honestly, buying this lip stain from Slushy Glow Cosmetics was one of the best things I ever decided to do, because my god does this shit hold up. Even when it's the end of the night and I'm taking my makeup off and getting ready for bed, I still wake up and my lips are still tinted kind of pinkish. So this shit stays. And honestly, like, this color, it looks redder in photos and on camera. I'm just looking at myself now, like the narcissist that I am, and it looks redder, but it actually like is originally like kind of almost a brownish red, because it's supposed to be the color of dried blood. Because it's me. Of course I've got to get a lip stain that's the color of dried blood. Oh, thank you so much. And genuinely, I hope everyone has been staying safe. Like this, things are really shitty out there in the world, but honestly, you're doing your best, and I'm so proud of you for that. I try to make the most of my platform by sharing resources for helping out people who are a part of the LA protests that are happening right now, helping out as much as I can. And this is my small part to help out other people who need an extra helping hand. But thank you so much, Sapphic Scaracomi, for the £1 donation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Honestly, guys, every little bit goes a long way. And thank you so much, Scaracomi, for this incredible donation. Thank you. A bit broke, but every little bit helps. Absolutely. If you're only able to support me, support the charity with just $1 or $2, it goes a long way. Thank you so much for this donation. My week's been pretty good. I got through my first animation class of second term and everything went incredibly well. That's fantastic. Great to hear that. I'm wonderful, Stephanie, just working on my Chaos Ward dogs, and I agree with you. That lip stain was a wonderful choice. Thank you so very much. Also, Slushy Glow Cosmetics is a small independent business, and I try and support independent businesses, small businesses when I can, and this especially was absolutely worth it. But what's been happening the past week? I've been busy working on secret shit. And also I followed the voice actor of Andromakos from Vampire Therapist and the creator of this game on Blue Sky, and he followed me back, which, you know, it feels weird being perceived like that. So I shared it on the Discord, just like I just need to take a second, guys. I need to take a second and just stare into space for a moment. Hey, Wild Angel, welcome back. Currently battling around the Chaos Waste is Kislev, and good evening, Stephanie. Good evening to you, Wild Angel. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place tonight, but I'm glad to hear you're having an awesome night. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, quick hydrate check. Steph's getting famous. I'm getting there bit by bit. Every day, I keep the hustle going to keep my lights on and pay my fucking bills. Because you are a stunning thespian worthy of following. You are too kind, Samuel. You are too kind. But speaking of stunning thespians, we need to... There's a sad fucking vampire we need to help out. So let's jump over to Vampire Therapist, shall we? I am streaming. I am recording. I am doing all the things I should be doing, which is good to see. Because it's important that I should do those. I'm up to chapter 6 on the first draft of the book. So yeah, a bit by bit is apt. That is 1000% fair. I feel you. Let's therapy some vampires. Yes, we will endeavor to do our best. And hello, Rickstack. How's it going? Welcome back. Okay, let's jump back into Vampire Therapist. I think we're doing pretty good at this story so far. Like, sometimes I've missed things, but I think everyone seems to be doing better for the most part. Also, this game is just a vibe. Like, when we get downstairs and we get to go to the club scene, I am just like... I need to work on my goth, like, club dancing a little bit more. I need to practice that better. But oh my god, like, the soundtrack to this game just makes me want to, like, put on some Blue Tangle and just dance. Last week's Vampire Therapist had me cackling. I know, right? They're so messy. I fucking love it. Good evening, Samuel. I believe you're seeing the Ancient One tonight, aren't you? See, I can do the voice too, Marcos.
Ancient One? She's 1,200 years younger than you, Andy.
I suppose I was engaging in a bit of labeling myself. You are, of course, correct. Still, her age presents a unique challenge.
Oh, actually, I should revise my notes before she gets here. So I remember what her issues were. Medi is feeling overwhelmed by her followers on social media and their demands. She relies on them for food and help dealing with mortals. Talks about mortals as if they're all the same, spends a lot of time online, creates strong one-way attachments with her followers, needs to get outside, bad at boundaries. I think next time I should figure out why she's got such a simple view of mortals. Maybe she'd be better off if she didn't see them as ants. Yeah, I think labeling was her thing a bit. From the messiness of the vampires to the... That's right, because I think you redeemed Night Angel for the Pick My Voice last week, and then, like, she got all pissed off. I made her get all pissed off because it was, like, dragging her ass to therapy.
After one lives for 1,000 years, history seems less a line than a fixed point. Speaking of which, I imagine you can guess what distortion an old one such as Medi might fixate upon.
Overgeneralization, was that it in regards to her followers?
It's gotta be overgeneralization. She really is basing all her opinions on her experiences when she was alive.
Very good, Samuel. I heard tales of her island in my time, but they were never peaceful tales. I am not surprised she finds safety in her narrative. What other distortions do you think Medi might exhibit?
Okay, I think with her it was labeling, personalization, should statements because she felt like she should like do these things for her followers, for her fans. What else? Emotional reasoning, control fallacy. I'll see maybe control fallacy, like having to discuss like what she can and can't control, maybe.
Good to go, boss.
Let me just refresh my memory on what the different terminology means so I remember what my fucking job is. Night Angel just needs a few sessions in couples therapy. She did nothing wrong. You say that. Like, you would have to, like, blackmail her into getting couples therapy for her and, like, her little star. Because getting her to go to therapy is like getting a cat to take a bath. She's gonna hate it the whole time. And honestly, it would be shocking if anyone left that room alive. Okay, so Nosferatu thinking was the do or die kind of black and white thinking, very extreme polarizing thoughts. Control fallacy is stuff with and without outside your control. Labeling, pretty straightforward. Should statements, That makes sense. Disqualifying the positive, not being or dismissing positive traits. Personalization, wrongly linking external events to ourselves in cases where realistically there ain't no definite link. Sometimes people actually are out to get us, or we do cause events, but sometimes we don't. We're doing some personalization. Examples: the Vampire Country Club doesn't allow cowboy hats. They made that rule just to discriminate against me. The cattle got spooked off and ran off. Okay, like taking things a bit too personally. Okay. And emotional reasoning. I don't think I picked that for her, but Shiver's walking into a ghost town, so it's got to be haunted. Emotional reasoning is when we act like our feelings represent reality, but no matter how unhappy we are, feelings alone don't define the world. I asked Andy, ain't everything emotional reasoning? He said no, emotional reasoning specifically when we project our feelings onto the world. Okay. The world can feel like garbage when I feel like garbage, but that doesn't make it reality. Okay, cool. And overgeneralization is assume that future experiences will always be the same. Models overgeneralize when they think all vampires date high schoolers based on that one vampire book they read. Well, there's several vampire books about that, to be fair. You know what we've experienced, but it's a distortion to think our experiences represent a pattern or the whole of something. Every time I play poker, I'll lose. I'll never win this game. Okay, fair enough. Let's give this a try with Medi.
Then I will leave you to it. Good luck, my friend.
God, his voice is hard. I feel like I should, like, rein it in now that the voice actor's, like, following me. As with all flustered remarks about finding particular voices attractive or the things I say, it is always directed towards the character, never towards the actual actor. I am very respectful towards my fellow voice actors. I just don't want anything to be taken out of context. Hi!
It's good to see you again, Mitty. How's the past month been for you?
Went for a walk, just like you suggested. Didn't like it very much.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. What was so unpleasant about it?
It's very loud outside, and dirty, and smelly. Everywhere I walked, it smelled like mortal food. Just disgusting.
To be fair, that's my experience when I leave my apartment. Like, sometimes I will purposefully go outside because I've been literally in my apartment for like 72 hours and I need to go out and touch grass.
They knew how good it felt to drink blood. Maybe they would not eat so much of this pizza food. There's so many cars too. I don't like cars. They have hateful faces. They look so angry all the time.
A Volkswagen Beetle's very cute though.
Stepped in a weed
And minis.
7 men and got splashed by a bus. It's really quite awful.
Only 7? Honey, that's amazing. That's some self-restraint.
You killed 7 men? How the heck did that happen?
Oh, is the game a little quiet? If anything, I've improved the volume since last time.
Was it
Hang on.
convenient, you know? Normally I have my zealots do that kind of thing for me. They take care of the bodies.
I think also Medi's voice in general is quite quiet.
But I had to do all that silly work myself. And now there are always police sirens going off, which interrupts my streams and makes my followers very sad.
Why did that all happen?
Because they found the bodies everywhere, silly. I don't know what to do with my rubbish.
Oh, honey. Honey, how have you made it this long with such sloppily cleaning up after yourself? Respectfully. Okay.
I meant, why the killing? You didn't happen to make a few assumptions based on past experiences? Why kill a bunch of men?
Oh, glad they looked at me. I know what mortals who look at me are like. If I let them live, they'd probably try to burn me as a witch. I could do nothing but kill them.
Overgeneralization?
Hold on a sec.
Yep.
You know what mortals who look at you are like. How do you know? Are you reading their minds?
Sweetie, that's what pig farms and chemical vats are for. Exactly. Or, like, incinerators, a la Interview with the Vampire, the TV series. I'm shocked that Lestat and Louis didn't get caught for that.
I don't have to read their minds, sweetling. I have known manlings for a very long time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But here in this room, at least, we gotta be honest with ourselves. Do you really know what they were thinking?
Silly mouseling. I do not need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is.
Does that mean every wolf you see is gonna try to eat you?
We don't have wolves anymore. They're all gone now.
So maybe you can see where that kind of thinking can be a problem. It was scared people who killed all them wolves, right? Now I know that thinking doesn't come from nowhere. Old as you are, I'm sure you've seen some real awful stuff.
That's right. Haven't killed you, though. You are kind, little mouse.
Well, let's lay off the mouse stuff a little.
I'm sorry. Don't wish for you to scurry away into a little hole. Do you want to hear why I feel the way I do?
I would appreciate it greatly, miss.
Let me tell you.
Speak from the
about
heart.
it From my time, then. Let's start with me, Dad.
Okay, we're cracking right into daddy issues. Okay, everyone brace yourselves. This is going to probably be bleak.
My father sold me and my mother to a chief of a rival clan for a golden necklace.
That is just horrifying.
Oh, don't fuss, sweetling. It was the most beautiful golden necklace. At least 2 girls' worth. Father got quite a deal, really.
Great.
You're using humor, but I'm sure that must have been heartbreaking for you.
It was common at the time. I suppose I should have been glad to be the possession of an old chief.
Should?
Whose should is that, matey?
Why, everyone thought that. They were ever so surprised when I ran away. Did wish I could feel the way they felt, but I simply could not.
Oh, thank you for pinning that, Sam. Much appreciated.
I think most of us vampires had it rough as kids. Maybe most kids have it rough. I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that kids don't come with the same shoulds their parents have got. I think we're learning all them shoulds ended up being a load of horse shit anyway.
I knew girls who did as they were told. They would have been thrilled to have been the concubine of a powerful chief. But, oh, he was so old. Cormac Wanio, the oldest man I'd ever seen. I remember thinking, where is his face? Because I could not see it under all his disgusting wrinkles.
How old was the guy?
38.
Shocking. That's almost as old as I am. God damn it, I'm getting old.
That was pretty old in your time, huh? Wish I died at 38. Could have been a better looking corpse.
Well, he left an awful looking corpse. His face was all...
I'm guessing you had something to do with that, huh?
Not me. My boyfriend, Abertach. He told me he'd set me free. I suppose he did.
Okay, like, I don't mean to generalize, but she absolutely looks like the kind of girl who would have, like, who would fully say, like, my boyfriend will fucking kill you, and then they will both follow through on that.
He created a delightful poison for me. He said it would make my dear master die in excruciating pain. So, one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died.
I don't know why this is flared up. Is this part of control fallacy? And yet you don't look a day over 24. Immortally pretty. I will say though, when I was in high school, I had really, really bad oily skin, like the horrible acne. And the thing about having oily skin as a teenager is that when you get older, you have really, like, a lot less wrinkles as an adult because your skin is just naturally, like, got more oils in it. So it stays, like, softer and less wrinkly. Also, I know how to do my makeup pretty well, and I take good care of my skin. And use sunscreen, kids. That's really, really important, but that helps a lot. I think that might be control fallacy.
You're saying your boyfriend killed your husband, but it sounds to me like you did the real work.
I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
You mixed up some herbs, sure, but you were the one that had to sleep with the old man and get the poison in him.
I was about to say, how do you feel? I'm so old, I'm expecting dad now, and I realized that my girlfriend is almost 2 months pregnant because my brain just blue screen like that.
Abby made sure I knew it was because of him that I was free. He said it could never have happened without him.
He didn't have to be brave to mix up a potion. I think the bravery was all you, Mitty.
Damn right.
You disqualified the idea that the person who set you free was you.
Damn right.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, strange cowboy man. I did do all the work.
Take pride in that. You killed that piece of shit.
But Abby never let me forget that he was the one who freed me. He wanted me to worship him.
Please tell me you killed him.
A fella who demands to be worshipped is always going to be a dangerous man.
Facts. A king should not have to say he's a king. Like, thinking of fucking Joffrey just screaming, I'm your king. Where? Like, no. A goddess shows she's a goddess through the way she carries herself, through her actions, through the way she influences others. If she has to scream, I am your god, is she deserving of worship? Just let that simmer in your brain, my lovelies.
Dangerous men have always been drawn to me. Must be something about the way I am.
Personalization?
Now don't go blaming yourself for bad men being bad. I'm sure you'd rather be left alone.
Well, that's what I thought, but it seems I am a temptress. That's what the churchmen say.
While you are gorgeous, that's not fair to label yourself as such.
And don't call yourself names. You don't want to prove them nasty fellers right, do you?
And I got an achievement for found a distortion within a distortion.
You are so kind. Oh, I wish to put you in my pocket and feed you breadcrumbs.
Who wants to volunteer for that?
Look, you deserve to be yourself. If people are giving you the wrong kind of attention, that ain't your fault. It's theirs. Heck, I think they should be in the chair you're sitting in right now.
Probably try to sniff it. Blood bags.
Ick.
No kink shaming, of course.
So what happened after you killed Cormac?
The Neil clan came after me and Abby. They found him, took their swords and went, stab, stab, stabby, stabby, stab, stab, stab. But Abby just laughed. That's how I found out he was undead already. Gave me the willies. When they couldn't kill Abby, they decided to kill me instead. And that made him very upset indeed.
No.
Because I belonged to him.
No.
That must have been terrifying.
I suppose. Mostly hard. Lots and lots. Getting stabbed is much fun when you're immortal.
I ain't too fond of it as a vampire neither.
Abby fed me his blood, though, and then I became like him. When I woke up, the Neil clan who tried to kill us were all properly dead. Well, almost dead. They still had a lot of blood left, and I was hungry.
Nom 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 nom.
The Neil clan was ever so cross, though. They captured Abby and sealed him in a tomb with some forgotten spells. He's still there, as far as I know.
What happened to you?
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
Is that control fallacy? That feels like overgeneralization. Overgeneralization?
Betty seems to think in extremes, not uncommon for one as ancient as she is. She had more power in her situation than she can admit.
Okay, control fallacy.
Future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
I reckon
There we go.
You've always had more power than you think. I mean, being immortal's a pretty good start. Heck, you were savvy enough to get out of that whole situation with Cormac. I think you always had options, Mitty.
I think last week when we were playing this game, we were talking about vampires, and you know me, I can talk about vampires. I think I said, oh, what would I do if I was a real vampire? And it was something along the lines of, I would wait out maybe a decade or so that maybe wasn't really interesting to me, and just like read books, learn languages, and then travel as much as I possibly could, and like learn as many things as I could. Chat, my lovely Lost Tales, what would you do if you were a vampire and were graced with the gifts of immortality? Also, would you feel comfortable killing humans, or would you... Also, this is all for legal reasons, hypothetical. If you were a vampire, just for legal reasons, if you were a vampire, would you feel comfortable satisfying your hunger with humans, or would you try and pull a Louis de Poindelac and only eat animals? For legal reasons, in Minecraft, if you're going to become a vampire in Minecraft, would you... what would you do? Would you live like the most of like your own life? Would you want to learn a lot of stuff? Would you travel more? Would you... I mean, another thing about being a vampire is if you can have someone, like, if you have the ins to have a vampire bank account and just put as much money into that as possible and then just wait 100 years, the interest rates, you would get so much money in interest. I'd only eat animals. That is completely fair. I never try have more than 2 pints. Ah, I see. So like feeding on mortals but not necessarily killing them. That's fair.
You are kind to say so. I guess maybe it's better to say there was only one choice I wanted to take.
Then I think that was the right choice to make.
If you didn't have all those whiskers, I would pinch those cheeks.
Okay, time to stop teasing poor Sam. So you've been living alone ever since then? Well, let's focus on you, huh? You say you've been living alone ever since then?
Of course, my silly cowboy man. We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
Control fallacy?
Come on, Mitty. You're distorting a lot of reality there. All vampires ain't lonely. Some of us choose to be, but not all of us.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would feel bad, I think, eating humans or animals. That's fair. I think with a lot of vampire stories, that first initial adjustment is the hardest, of coming to terms with becoming an apex predator above humans and the moral quandaries of that. I would probably cry for a whole year that my body would never return to the earth to dance with the Fae, but then I would travel, walk, fly, sail, travel anywhere and find a nice secluded, preferably castle on the coastal cliff, learn to play piano and read all of the books and write all of the poetry. That is so admirable and a big mood. Absolutely, I could see that. Or if we're talking masquerade vampires, then I go to a local blood bank and feed that way. That's also fair. If I was a vampire, I would spend as much time as I could learning, but then I would work on inventions and fighting for social justice and change through legal systems and protests. Since I couldn't be easily physically hurt, I would also work on trying to improve the foster system as best I could. Storykeeper, that is so sweet and genuinely so admirable. Like, that is a wonderful sentiment. Good on you.
Sure, mortals have a habit of dying, but there will always be more of them. Not to mention all the vampires out there. Heck, I used to be in a vampire gang. Cult. Well, kind of both. They weren't good company, but they certainly weren't lonely. I mean, ain't we talking? Well, there's loads of vampires out there who think like you do, and they're fulfilling their own prophecies of loneliness.
You're being a mean little mouse now, and I don't like it very much. Maybe I should have killed you after all.
No.
I'm trying to help you, Mitty. The world's changed a lot in the last 1800 years. A lot of it bad, but a lot of it good too.
Also, the idea of feeding on people would absolutely bring a lot of questionable moral stuff. Like, I can imagine if vampires lived today's world, they'd probably feed on homeless people and people less fortunate. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. I've been playing the vampire RPG on and off, so become a doctor, specialize in blood, profit. Absolutely, I could see that. Yeah, I probably wouldn't feed on people to the point of death. I would want to travel around, learn different languages. Hell yes. If I became a vampire in Minecraft, I would probably not have issues feeding on mortals, and I would likely become a recluse for a few decades to a century, not letting my account secure compound interest. Then I would travel for a while before retiring to a manor home where I could comfortably be a recluse. Honestly, Same. Absolutely same here.
By and large, most people ain't burning witches and selling their daughters. That sort of thing's frowned upon by mortals these days. There are laws out there to protect folks now. It ain't like in old times.
May I tell you a story, little mouse?
All right, tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a very pretty young lady. Pretty, but also crazy. Like me.
You're not crazy.
I don't mean to interrupt your story so soon, but you didn't think I was gonna let you get away with that one, did you? Don't call yourself crazy. You've been around way longer than I have. You gotta know that sanity is relative.
I know I'm crazy, though. Everyone tells me so, even my zealots. They like that I'm crazy.
That's not a good thing.
Crazy ain't supposed to be a nice word. So why are you using it? Why are you creating a reality where what you are is crazy?
You are an annoying little mouse sometimes. Very well. I won't call myself crazy in front of you.
It's a start.
May I continue my story now?
Go for it.
The pretty young lady Mary had moved in with her cousin, Mrs. Haltridge. At first they got along quite well. But one day, Mary started acting naughty. She would shout, act unladylike, and even say that Jesus Christ wasn't very special.
Okay.
Mrs. Haltridge liked Jesus Christ very much and wanted Mary to like him too. When she didn't, this embarrassed Mrs. Haltridge. She began to think something was wrong with Mary. After all, who didn't like Jesus Christ? Mrs. Haltridge said that Mary had begun to vomit up pins and buttons, nails, glass, and bits of wool. Instead of being grateful for the free gifts Mary was vomiting up, Mrs. Haltridge said that she had been attacked by 8 witches in spectral form. Now, just so happened that all 8 of those witches lived very close to the town where Mrs. Haltridge lived. Despite their magical prowess, the 8 witches were captured and put into the stocks, and all the people of the town were told that the women did not like Jesus Christ at all.
Witch hunts?
So the Jesus Christ-liking people threw rotten vegetables and poo at the witches. And, just for fun, they gouged out the eye of one of them. Then they kicked the witches out of town and lived happily ever after. The end.
That ain't a pleasant story.
Oh, it was very...
Oh, shit.
It hurts very much to have your eye taken away, but I like my new eye. It's fun.
Like, I've seen some legitimately very cool prosthetic eyes, but oh, Maddie, I am so sorry. On the blood subject, I try and work towards synthetic alternative for those who couldn't bring themselves to feed on anything alive, human or animal. I could see that, like, go the true blood kind of route.
I was 1500 summers old or so when that happened. The world hadn't changed much then. I don't think it's changed much now.
If this is set in 2025, then that would be 1500s?
I'm sorry that happened to you, Meddy. You're right. Folk can be pretty awful when they get riled up. That ain't changed.
Oh, don't be sorry, little mouse. I like my new eye. Also, the story has a happy ending.
Oh yeah? What's that?
After I had my eye taken away, I took Mrs. Haltridge's parts away too, one by one until she died. It was so much fun.
We support women's rights and women's wrongs. I see nothing wrong with this.
That's a little morbid, Meddy.
Morbid Mary? Oh, I like that. It's very clever, little mouse. But you see why I'm careful now?
Yeah, I get it. But look, there's one thing that's different now, and that's...
I'm not going to say liberal democracy has solved anything. What we're doing right now. Therapy, talking things out with each other.
It's what we're doing right now. In all that time up till now, therapy ain't never existed. We only just started looking at ourselves and the way we think. Before recent times, we only looked at gods, government, and society. The self is a new frontier, and we're learning stuff we never considered before. The frontier can be kind of scary, but being on that frontier means moving forward. Come with me.
Silly mouse. If something feels scary, that means that there must be something to be scared of.
I know you've been through a lot and you got damn good reasons for being careful. But there's a reason you came to me, right?
Yes, but it wasn't because I wanted to go outside. It's because of my fans. They're very demanding.
Right. That's why we were talking about your going for walks and went down this rabbit hole.
Or, in your case, a mouse hole.
Anyway, therapy usually ain't about just one thing. It's about lots of things. If the problem is your fans, we gotta imagine unlife without them, right?
Don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle. They're too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
Control fallacy?
Beneath her smile, Medi has a darker view of humanity than most. Is the only reason the weak do not hurt the strong that they cannot.
Overgeneralization?
Lose them all. Some of them are gentle. They're too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
You really think weak people would hurt others if they were stronger?
Little mouse, I've been alive for a long time. I believe what my eye shows me. Yes, if one is capable of hurting another, they do.
They can, but they don't always. You ever seen them capybara animals?
They're wonderful. I love capybaras. But whenever I think it would be cool to be a vampire, my mind goes to Alucard's speech to Anderson. Don't do it, human. Don't become a monster. Oh my god. I need to rewatch Hellsing for many reasons, but fuck. God damn it. That moment with Alexander Anderson fucks me up every time I see it. Because Alucard in Hellsing is one of the best fucking vampires I've ever seen in fiction. And he's inspired me a lot in my own creative projects. But god fucking damn, does that moment with Anderson break my heart. And just, also, dubs over subs is a whole other debate, but Crispin Freeman as the voice of Alucard in Hellsing is so good. And he gives his all into that performance. God damn it. I thought for the longest time about getting a Hellsing-inspired tattoo, but I can't decide on what I want.
They're dang massive rodents. Could do some damage if they wanted to, I reckon.
Oh, yes! Oh, they're very cute. People like to share animated pictures of them in my community.
Capybaras are the fucking best.
Some folk are like that. They just want to sit around and have someone scratch their bellies.
Is that what you want, little mouse? Do you want me to scratch your belly?
Save it for when you're no longer a patient.
What? No. I'm just saying, don't assume everyone's out to hurt someone. Yeah, it happens. Of course it does. But that kind of thinking ain't giving folks their fair shot.
Don't know what I'll do if I don't have my followers. I can't live the way I used to before the machines took over. Oh, they expect so much of me now. They send me messages all night and all day. They need content.
Which is why I have a very strict, line in the sand to keep a healthy distance between my wonderful fans and myself, because there's some lines that just shouldn't be crossed, and it sounds like Medi really needs to set some fucking boundaries.
God, if I don't give them their content, they'll all leave. Their attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
Labeling?
Medi has millions of followers, and she expects the same of all of them. This does not compute, as I hear the children of the sun say.
Control fallacy? Not being able to control them?
Don't give them their content, they'll all leave. Their attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
Or overgeneralization.
Okay,
There we are.
I think we need to talk about moderation.
Oh, I already have moderators, silly mouse. Any major content creator has to have them.
And mine are wonderful, and they help me out in many, many ways.
I don't know what that stuff means. I'm talking about moderation in your thinking. What if you gave your fans only what you felt comfortable giving?
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
This is sitting a little bit too close to home. Personalization?
Again, Medi seems to view her followers as cattle. Are all mortals so docile?
Control fallacy then.
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Damn it.
Again, Medi seems to view her followers as cattle. Are all mortals so docile?
Overgeneralization in that case.
Doesn't matter what I...
Maybe
There we go.
You're thinking that mortals want only one type of content is forcing you to make only one type of content.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, I might have missed that stretch check. Thank you, Wild Angel. Ah. Ow.
Your assumptions are keeping you from doing things you like, and you deserve to do things you actually enjoy.
Sorry. Forgot to put my phone on mute.
You're very kind. I thought cowboys were supposed to be tough.
They can be a great many things, darling.
Who says I ain't? I just don't have nothing to prove no more. Here, why don't we try something new for next time, since going out didn't go so well last time. I want to challenge you to take a day off. Don't answer any messages, don't post no content. Just do something for you and you alone. Take a sick day.
But we never get sick. We're dead people.
They don't know that, do they? One day, that's all I'm asking for. You need to give yourself a little space.
Very well. Since you've been a very kind mouse, I'll do it for you.
See, this is where I can't relate. Like, he's telling her to take time off for herself. Like a full day off to just do stuff that she likes. And not work. And just focus on rest. That sounds fucking gross, Sam. I don't want to do that.
I'd prefer it if you did it for you, but we'll work toward that, huh?
Oh, I wish I had a big piece of cheese to give to you right now.
A lactose intolerance is kind of a side effect of death, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'll see you in a month then, okay?
Yes.
Great. I'll see you then.
Bye.
You are doing well, my friend. I know we old ones can be rather inscrutable sometimes.
She's human. We all are, ain't we? The way I see it, we all got the same problems one way or another.
Do it, Stephanie. Take some time off. Sam says it's good for you. No! The only person I'll partially listen to is Bingus, and she's not here. God damn it. Even on my month off in April, I was still working on shit. I just didn't show you guys what I was working on.
Your wisdom never fails to impress, Samuel. I believe it is time for you to follow your own advice to Miss Betty, however. All work and no play makes for a dull vampire, as they say.
Andrew Marcos, okay, when you say it, it hits different. Shut up. God damn it. Zooey Red Fox, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome back to the Blu-rays Respite. I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for the subscription. I hope you're having a wonderful time with us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Yes, Steph, if you fake sick and take off for a day, we'd never know. Okay, to be fair, sometimes if I'm genuinely exhausted and I need a night off, I will cancel a stream. Like, I've done that plenty of times in the past. It's just that this month in particular, I want to stream every day of my regular schedule, because we're also doing a charity run. But I might take some time off next month. Maybe. If I feel like it, okay?
Yeah, you're probably right. I might hit the hay early and do a bit of reading.
If you must take out some aggression on hay, then please do so. I shall see you soon, my friend. Rest in peace.
Good night, Andy.
God, he's hot.
Dang, I wonder how I'll feel about humanity when I'm 1800. Heck, I wonder whether there'll even be a planet.
It better be. Or make Stephanie takes it a day off a ridiculously high channel point tier or something. You know what, Storykeeper? I kind of love that idea. Because it's now just become a running joke of just like, I have no chill and I cannot take time off to save my life. Like, I have to like be almost punished into taking time off and taking care of myself. I should make it like 1 million channel points and then I take a day off. Or like 100k points to end stream. You know what? I'm actually gonna write that down because I kind of love that idea. 1 million channel points a spa weekend. Okay, to be fair, spa weekends are very expensive in the UK, and I'm not gonna lie, my finances are a little on the tight end. Even though I got my tax return a couple of weeks ago, I recently bought a painting, so help me with my finances. I would maybe like to do a spa weekend at some point, but I'm not sure if I could do a full spa trip. Maybe I could take a day off and go to a spa or something. But it would be like a subscription goal. Like if I get a certain number of subscriptions over the course of the month, then I'll use that money to pay for a spa day. I'll think about making like for 1 million points. I will stop the stream and go to bed. Let's look at Medi's notes. Okay, session 2, Medi. Medi's got real good reasons for not being fond of mortals, but it might be narrowing her worldview. Real bad history, was sold to a rival warlord and killed by a wizard. I guess wizards are real now. Abandoned by her clan after she killed her new husband and became a vampire, was pillared as a witch in the 1700s, okay, and had her eye removed. She thinks it's pretty funny. Sounds disgusted by her followers. I'll try to encourage Medi to do more things she likes for her own sake and get outside more.
I guess it's time to drown my existential woes in blood. Howdy there, Crimson.
You're sounding a little weary there, cowboy. You getting enough to drink these nights?
Oh, actually, come to think of it, 1 second. Let me just check something on my schedule, because I will have to take a night off later this month. When is that again? It's on here somewhere. Okay. So I will have to take a night off, like a Friday night. I think it's the 27th of June, because I have tickets to a club event that I'm going to. So I will take 1 night off this month, okay? God damn it!
Oh yeah, that ain't it. Just existential ponderings.
That's just my specialty. What's eating you, buckaroo?
It's this old client I got. She's been watching humanity hurting itself for 1,800 years. Every time she expected better, she got hurt. She ain't wrong to mistrust mortals.
What's the theme? It's just a kind of general goth alternative night. But I'll see if I can pull together a really cool look. I have a couple of outfits that I've been wanting to wear out and about again, so I get to pull together another really sexy goth look.
That's a tough one. What do you do with someone like that?
Well, I tried to guide her to look inward like I do with everyone. People are people, but so is she.
How do you think she took it?
I think she took it pretty well.
I think she appreciated the focus on her. I can't answer for all humanity, but maybe she can get answers from herself.
I think you could stand to listen to yourself, Ranchero. You could have been a mean old Dracula and nobody would expect anything different from you. Reckon there have always been people like you, no matter how bad it's been in history.
Dang, Crimson. I can see why Andy respects you so much. You done some living, sounds like.
Hell yeah.
Death at the door can put things into perspective. I get where your client is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Changing the world isn't gonna happen, but we can at least change ourselves.
I don't think that's true. The country I left definitely ain't the country I was born in.
The wheels turn a little slowly for us mortals, cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Back in DC, I was trying to push policy to do something about our poverty problem. But the kind gentlemen across the street were pretty happy to make things worse.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my cancer diagnosis, that was my wake-up call to stop getting disappointed and start living with the little amount of time I had left.
Working at a bar is more rewarding than being a member of the bar, huh?
Not bad, cowboy. It's got its charms. Here, I whipped up something special for you.
Ooh, special blood tea. Yay!
That ain't half bad. Got a refreshing taste.
Rose hips. Just a little something extra. Been experimenting with some herbals for Andy.
It's a contemporary or 1800s-esque goth with modern accommodations. It is focused a lot on heavy and alternative music and a lot of goth music. So it's more like you can dress it as whatever kind of goth or metal like alternative look you like. It doesn't have a specific theme, so it's kind of just a general free-for-all, but you got to put some effort into your outfit. And I've been interested in maybe trying to do more like face paint to these events, because I like my usual look that I do, but I want to maybe do something a little bit extra.
Guess old dogs like us can still learn new tricks. Thanks, Crimson. I think I'll hit the hay now.
Hellbound Frog. Hi, Steph. I'm glad I could finally catch you live. I just got back from my birthday party, and I thought this stream would be a great way to end my birthday. That is fantastic. Happy birthday, Hellhound Frog. Chat, can we get some happy birthdays for Hellhound Frog? Thank you so much for dropping by. If you prefer to lurk, that is totally fine, but welcome to the Blue Rose Respite. I hope you had a fantastic birthday party. Lots of love from the Blue Rose Respite and from me.
You hit that hay, Desperado. I'll see you later.
Hey.
Got a lot on my mind tonight. I think I need some rest. Now, what should I do to relax?
Oh, we've got Edmund's autograph in our little case. That's cute. Reflect on the day with Emerson. Watch a man get his butt burned with a hot iron, or go to sleep. Reflect on the day with some Emerson, I think.
I always pick up a little extra perspective from Ralphie Waldo. Emerson, that is. Let's see if I can find a good passage. Bingo. In the woods is perpetual youth. Within these plantations of God, a decorum and sanctity reign. A perennial festival is dressed, and the guest sees not how he should tire of them in 1,000 years.
Oh, you're going to do like Papa Imperator face paint? Maybe something like kind of corpse paint inspired, but I'm not quite sure. I don't think I've got enough like white base paint. I've got some black face paint, but I'm thinking of doing kind of like hollowed out cheekbones and that kind of look. Yeah, kind of corpse paint inspired, but not with the full like white base paint.
In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me. No disgrace, no calamity, leaving me my eyes, which nature cannot repair. In the wilderness, I find something more dear and connate than in streets or villages. In the tranquil landscape, and especially in the distant line of the horizon, man beholds somewhat as beautiful as his own nature. Ain't that the truth? Future's always ahead, no matter how old we get. That's enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
Oh. It's so sweet that he's like so remorseful over his horse.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm much better now that you're here.
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
I'm a big mood.
I understand. Looking in the mirror is difficult for any human. Much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
Thanks for the birthday wishes. My party was great. I even got a pie in the face. It was really fun. That's fantastic. Really, really glad to hear it.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Asking the big questions.
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love each other very much...
Continue.
Come on, boss, that's not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
The answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you. We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to you right now.
Okay, the meditation minigame is something I struggle with, so we might skip it.
Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
I ain't good at being a therapist. Is my hat weird? Ich bin Sam. Ich bin ein Kuma. Election looks real bad back home.
I think if I click on them,
Dr.
then it's
Drake
okay.
thinks I'm brain damaged. Why'd my mama have to marry that asshole? When's the sunrise? The Senora hates my guts.
Acknowledging my
Sure
thoughts.
wish you were still here, Jeb. Actors need help, that's for dang sure. Wish I had more book smarts. Bet he scares the heck out of me. You're an
Meditation.
idiot, Sam, hurting all them folk.
No.
Why'd I join up with a gang in the first place?
How are you feeling now?
Okay, so I did figure out how to actually use it.
I'm way more centered now. I think I was actually afraid of therapy today.
I know Southern Gothic would be more flora themed for women, but I don't know what it would be for guys, like black button-ups and jeans. I feel like that bleed into biker more than anything. That is an excellent question. So I will direct you to a wonderful phrase that I've picked up called y'alternative. And so it's a combination of like southern aspects of dress, which incorporates kind of southern gothic, with a little bit of kind of cowboy motifs, but also can be interpreted in like more feminine and masculine presentation. So if you want some tips to look gothic, but with a kind of southern gothic, more masculine flair, I would recommend looking at things like kind of classic like masculine silhouettes of even like cowboys to an extent, but I'm thinking like not necessarily black boots with like lots of studs and buckles, but nice sleek black boots with like a little silver detailing, like the silver tips on the toes of cowboy boots. Even something like a black button-up shirt with like a bolero tie, but the bolero is like black and silver with maybe a skull as like the top of the bolero tie. Having like skull rings or even crosses to an extent. Leaning into like those traits that you would attribute to like southern styles of dress, like, or even like a belt with like a prominent buckle that's like a skull or a snake or something, and then like lots of studs on the belt as well. So that's some fun ideas to kind of get you started, and then of course you can go wild with the makeup as well.
Why is that, my friend? What thoughts came up?
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
They preyed on the vulnerable, as cults tend to do. If you had been a man of means with a robust support system, I doubt they would have noticed you.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry seat to begin with.
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit. All that lawbreaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no good, that was my country failing me.
Let us slow down, Samuel. You're making a bit of a logical leap. I have great admiration and empathy for you, my friend. But it is disrespectful to those you hurt to blame anyone but yourself.
I mean, I guess I could have died. Suppose that would have been kinder. But that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died. And I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming. When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
I know what blaming is.
Our faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I've noticed all the British Texan comments. Silver cufflinks, like, oh, definitely silver cufflinks, like some nice little skulls or something spooky would be really cool. I already dress pretty eclectic, but I want to look more whimsical, though I'm not sure how. I know what clothes I feel comfortable in and what things I don't like, but I don't have much of a visual sense of aesthetics. It's a lot of fun to hear other people talk about fashion, though. If you want to dress kind of that more whimsical aspect, because when I think of the word whimsical, I think of flowing fabrics. I personally tend to dress quite eclectic, leaning towards more general alternative, like lots of black and silver, and just mixed metals, leather jacket and all that, nice chunky boots. But if you want to lean towards a more kind of whimsical approach, I think of stuff like flowing fabrics, so like a long scarf or a jacket with really long sleeves or something. Aspects that kind of flow and add a kind of ethereal nature to it. So regardless of whether you want to present as more masculine or more feminine, you could incorporate things like a neck scarf that has a long flowing fabric to it, letting your hair grow out so it like flows in the wind a little bit more. Also things that add like a sense of whimsy. I think of aspects of nature or even celestial aspects, so like moon and sun and earrings or jewelry, other jewelry, butterflies and moths. Like, think of creatures that evoke a sense of whimsy. Like, they're usually quite light and airy, almost ethereal sorts of creatures. So you can kind of have those concepts in mind when you're like thrifting for clothes and stuff, finding a top that has long flowing sleeves, or you can layer it with other pieces of clothing that adds a kind of multifaceted aspect to your presentation. Like, fashion is something and presentation, regardless of gender identity, is something that evolves and changes as you grow older. I think I dress now in a way that if I dressed like my teenage self would be really, really happy with the way that I dress now. But that came with a lot of trial and error and figuring out like how to do my makeup, what kind of haircut and color I like, what kind of clothes I feel comfortable in that express the most me. So one thing I will say is don't get sucked into stupid micro trends where everyone dresses like, oh, we'll just like the new trend is whimsigoth, and then that's a trend for like 3 weeks and then suddenly it's seen as out of style. No, focus on what clothes make you feel like the best version of yourself, and of course like ebb and go as your tastes change and everything like that, but don't feel pressured if something is in or out of style that you have to like discard something if it genuinely makes you happy to wear it. Steph, you're going to love Date Everything, the fast fashion trends. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to eventually playing Date Everything. I think mid-century Southern funeral director would fit in. That is actually a fantastic way to think about it. It's for different styles of dress if you want to dress more kind of Southern Gothic. There's this wonderful content creator on TikTok I follow. I think she's called Wolf in Lace. And she does a lot of videos about putting together looks, goth fashion and stuff like that. And she's a big inspiration. She like works with some wonderful brands. I like her a lot. And she has a turn of phrase, like, because when people think of goth, they think of black. Like, they have to dress in all black. Like, the white face paint, a heavy black eyeliner, and they have to dress in all black. Absolutely fucking not. You can dress goth, like, in a whole ton of different colors, also including white, like especially as Wolf and Lace says, like Civil War bandage white. So think of like withering old lace and bandages used to wrap wounds and stuff like that, where it's almost a yellowy sort of decayed, but like in a long night dress or a long flowing white dress. Like think a vampire bride rising from the dead, like the color, like that kind of white color. That could be super amazingly gothic. And it looks so good. So good.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
The Wolf in Lace. Yes, that's her. That's her. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Wonderful photographer. Like, she herself is a plus-size person, and so I often go to her for a lot of, like, website recommendations for brands that do great plus-size clothing, because I'm a curvy girl, and I have very generous proportions. So I always look for good brands that are very size inclusive.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Senora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming.
I will do my best.
I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there? I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
Blaming.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two. Man, I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
I wish that were me, but I don't know who I'd rather be.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Well, singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're... I mean, forget I said anything.
Oh, poor baby.
All right, Samuel, let us move on.
Oh, Logan. Perfect fucking timing. Honestly, I was just getting off the tail end of having this massive discussion about, like, recommending different goth fashion and stuff like that. So, you have perfect fucking timing. Also, this game is amazing. You're gonna love it. But how are you doing, darling? I miss you. I hope you're doing well. We damn sure love curvy women, Wow. Absolutely. We respect all bodies. all shapes and sizes in the Blue Rose Respite, and we worship them accordingly. I was just talking about size inclusive, like, or it's like incorporating certain gothic styles into your fashion sense. And I was talking about a content creator in particular called The Wolf in Lace, who does a lot of videos about different goth fashion, how to get inspired by different aspects of goth fashion and stuff like that. And she is a plus size woman, so she features a lot of brands that are size inclusive. So I was just talking about her wonderful channel and recommending some fun tips and tricks for people who want to reinvigorate their wardrobe, so to speak.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing?
I try my best to have good timing, as good as I can living in the US. Absolutely, Logan. I really hope you're staying safe, darling. I really hope so. You're doing so good taking care of yourself and your mom, and I miss you. I miss your face, and I really hope you're doing okay. Worship mode engaged. Logan, respectfully, do not say that in my chat because you're going to make me lose my shit. And I might say something on chat that I will regret later. So, behave yourself, darling. Be good.
Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
That's blaming.
And now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes.
I could have sworn we talked about this before, but could we get a stream with you talking about fashion? Honestly, I kind of be down to maybe occasionally do like a just talking stream to just ramble about that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure if I would be able to keep a conversation going for more than like 45 minutes without feeling like self-conscious, like, you guys really want to hear me keep talking about goth fashion?
You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right today.
Gothic is to mean the embodiment of yearning for the fleetingness and ethereal, whether it be death or nature. Very wise words indeed, Berserk Boy. Very wisely put.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play? It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
No, that's a fact.
There are some blaming distortions you missed in there.
Oh, shit.
Friend. Listen once more.
Okay.
I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there? I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
That was blaming.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two. Man, I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Okay, and then it repeats what was said earlier.
And I bring each other great satisfaction.
And then I scream and die a little on the inside with jealousy.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Steph, if you have to the beginning of streams for like 30 to 45 minutes and we listen to yab about anything from fashion to gaming, you know, I really appreciate that, Scaracomi. Thank you so much.
Well, singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're... I mean, forget I said anything.
To be fair, when you hear Andromachos say it in that voice, like, your mind goes all kinds of fun places.
All right, Samuel, let us move on.
Okay.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing? Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee...
And now hold on, Andy.
Hang on.
I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes.
I think I missed one again.
Tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play? It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
Is that blaming?
Well, the sun can't help being the sun, so don't go blaming it. The way I see it, we got our place. That ain't nobody's fault.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
That laugh, his laugh, bro, like Scaracomi. As I said before, across several streams, a good voice is one of the things I'm most attracted to. So it has been a struggle at times to focus on this game, and again, I'm saying this about the character, not the voice actor, because we're now mutuals on Blue Sky. But my god, is this voice distracting? Fuck!
Well, that's one way of thinking about it.
There are some blaming distortions you missed in there, my friend. Listen once more.
Fine.
I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into
Are
a
they
tree.
all blaming the ones?
Put that tree there.
Blaming
Okay, I
someone
think
else
all of them
or
are
the tree
blaming.
for you being clumsy. That ain't gonna do anyone much good. I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Okay, the ones that we've had before I will skip over just because they're
Of
repeating.
course, there is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire, but we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work.
Don't be insecure, baby, you're perfect.
I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night.
Dang, that is some blaming.
Okay, sorry, I'll skip over this because we've done this many times and his voice is so distracting. Ah!
I said nothing lurid, Samuel.
Well, singing, great.
All right, Samuel, let us move on.
Okay.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing?
Come on now, boss.
There we
Not
are.
every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. Well, that's some blaming right there.
You are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times. By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control-V and Control-C the other night. What a delightful trick.
Oh, sweet baby didn't know Control V, Control C. Okay.
Oh yeah, way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
You youngsters always find the latest tricks. Let's keep going, though.
I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny.
Oh.
I'm mad at him too. Dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How'd his country pay him back? By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
That must have been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel. And stories such as yours prove it.
Steph repeating the dialogue because she's missing the correct answer, or because she wants to hear the voice actor again. How about you respectfully hush your fates before I take away your mod sword? How dare you call me out on that shit in front of my salad?
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares? I'm telling you, Andy, the best thing about being dead is realizing how little that nationalism crap matters.
Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened after your father died?
Well, we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder. He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun. And once Jeb started fighting back, dear old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another hydrate check just for funsies.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel. My country asked me to kill at 20, and I still remember how devastating it felt.
Yeah, well, nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen the way people looked at us. They knew we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
A moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
It's them distortions again, huh?
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
The people we knew were trouble?
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds. Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, we can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
First, that's labeling. Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know. With your mind reading, Do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
Yeah. You're right. You're damn right.
Therapy is fucking hard,
No one
guys.
expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself. Here, let us do an exercise to help you recognize mind reading.
Okay.
Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
That is no way of knowing for sure. Mind reading?
That's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
No, that part of the world was never really vampire-friendly.
That's fair.
The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
What?
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
Okay, so one of my favorite jokes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer is the first episode we get introduced to Spike and Drusilla, and there's this vampire that's having this. He's a big, like, the tough guy in the town, and he's talking about, like, something Hellmouth, the vampire's gathering, it'll be the greatest thing since the crucifixion. I would know, I was there. And Spike, light of my life, one of the patient zeros of my tasted men, chimes in, like, if every vampire who was at the crucifixion, who says they were at the crucifixion, was actually at the crucifixion, it would have been like Woodstock. I was actually at Woodstock. Weird gig, that. I drank from a flower person, and then I spent an hour watching my hand move.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
I fucking love Spike so much.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair and has experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it. Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know, because she told me so.
No, if she told you directly, that's fine.
I sent my friend Vlad an internet message, and he left it on red. He must hate me.
Mood.
That's some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages on red, and only Vlad knows them. Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
It is.
Now, the Pony Express was a lot healthier, I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers.
Is that a trick question? Because you're literally mind reading?
Wait just a sec. That's definitely mind reading. You read the fella's mind, so you knew what he was thinking.
Aha! That was a trick example, Samuel.
Damn it.
It is not a cognitive distortion if I know the contents of his mind for sure. However, while it is not a distortion, it is rude to read another's thoughts, so I choose not to do so. It is better for all if private thoughts remain so.
90s, early 2000s 2UV was something else. I was a Charmed kid, personally. That is completely fair. I didn't really grow up watching Buffy or Charmed. What was my thing in the early 2000s? Early 2000s, I think I was a Sabrina the Teenage Witch girl. The Melissa Joan Hart TV series. I'm not even sure if I was really allowed to watch Buffy or Charmed until I was a bit older. Keep in mind, I was born in 91. Like, I'm a 90s baby. So I think I was maybe still a little too young to maybe watch Buffy. And I didn't really start watching Buffy until I was in my teenage years, maybe. And I had to seek that out myself. But I do love Buffy.
You didn't actually read his mind then.
No, but at my age, the signals are obvious. He was having very dirty thoughts indeed. Would you like to hear them?
No, thank you.
Come on, boss.
I can't resist teasing the American a little. I will proceed with more mind-reading statements. I told our bouncer, Bert, a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused. You did not find all the instances
Damn
of
it.
mind-reading, Samuel. Please listen closely.
Fine.
Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea.
Yep. I'll skip through these again.
Very good, Samuel.
You were there when he was kicking up.
No, that's the chair you're sitting in is one of his.
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought
Fucking
it
love that
before
joke.
it became a big deal.
Dang.
It's more than 2,000 years. Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know because she told me so.
No, because she told you
Sent
so.
my friend Vlad an internet message.
That was mind
Some
reading.
mind reading for sure. There's no way.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. Reading too much into an internet message.
Now, the Pony Express was a lot.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me.
Skip past
I
this
told
one.
our bouncer Bert a funny joke the other day. He was quiet but very amused.
That feels like mind reading. I got Buffy and Charmed occasionally, but Sabrina was the show I saw the most growing up, most likely because cable was a rarity in my house. That's completely fair. I know I spent way too many years in choir, miss it so much, but because when I hear someone snap their fingers really well, I jump to attention like a sleeper agent and start picturing my scales. I was born in the late 2000s, my ass still grew up with shows like Charmed, Merlin, etc. That's also completely fair. Those are all great shows to watch growing up. I honestly, I feel bad. I've never watched Merlin. I know it's like a cornerstone, like great fantasy TV series, but I really need to. Sorry.
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking.
Oh, you would love Morgana. Oh, I'm familiar with Morgana. I've seen many a gift set of Morgana, and she is absolutely gorgeous and very much my vibe.
I like to think he dreams of butterflies, but who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of
Sorry,
all
I
this.
get itchy ears
Knowing
with
what's
these
real and
headphones
what's
sometimes.
not.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
You don't know already. I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys on account of the fact that we were young and good looking. I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years. They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two bitches. Jeb and I married a pair of sisters. We even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion. I guess we got greedy though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures.
Oh no.
Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000, split 3 ways. That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head.
Shit.
Dead before he even hit the ground.
No.
I didn't know who did it. So in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming so loud she scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again. Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to. I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story. I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. But he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards. Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
Too sure of my fate?
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom. We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective, even in a world of infinite possibilities. One would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations. But we are just as susceptible to being always right.
I mean, some of us are always right, like 90% of the time, so I mean...
Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right.
Fine.
I have the
Stretch check.
experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
Always right. You can do no wrong, Andromachos.
Okay, Boomer.
Excuse me?
Stephanie is always right and can do no wrong. See, say that to Bingus. Say that to Bingus.
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right. The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
You are always right about that. Well done, Sam. With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter.
Always right?
Hold on, you can't know that layoffs are gonna happen after the next financial quarter.
I did not say that I was certain, just that I had earned confidence in my prediction.
Fine.
Modern stock markets are run by a cabal of dark cultists, and one can make educated predictions about their behavior.
I knew it! That's why my portfolio has been shit recently.
Wait, are you serious?
Oh, interesting. Lord Azul, but Stephanie, if you're always right, chat might have a harder time supporting women's wrongs. And you know what? You were absolutely right. I need to lead by example and be wrong sometimes, so that we, as a community, can continue to support women's rights and women's wrongs. Can I get a hell yeah?
Yes, they sacrifice all to the dark god of ever-increasing profit. You should know this, Samuel. Their dark gospel reigns supreme in your land.
Too soon, man.
Oh, right. I guess I never thought as institutional investment bankers as dark cultists, but you're right. That's exactly what they are.
I used to work with some. Okay, great to see the chat going, hell yeah!
If only they had chosen a more ethical god than unrestrained capitalism. I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
That's always right.
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in life, but we ain't always resentful.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
But we will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around. Let us continue. I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age. I do not need your perspective.
And now hold on, you ain't always right. You thinking we're gonna turn into misanthropes is limiting you from making new vampires, but that's just your thinking.
Very good, my dear Samuel. Caution is warranted when bringing a new soul into the dark, but I must consider perspectives other than my own.
Yeah, I will say that's something that's always interesting, and it's something that's talked about and showcased in live play shows like LA by Night and New York by Night. Mostly it's touched on more in LA by Night, but it's something that is so interesting in vampire fiction is the relationship between master and progeny. I use master as like the general term for the maker vampire. I'll call them maker, it's less weighted word. The maker vampire and their progeny. Because I think I talked about this even last week, but this is something that's really interesting to me as a writer, is the relationship between a maker vampire and their progeny, because the maker vampire is ultimately their murderer. They are, even with the best intentions, taking the life of another person, and it could be spiteful, they could be like damning them in a sense with the curse of undeath. It could be a gentle, loving act to save the life of a loved one, or an act of preservation to keep their loved one with them eternally, or it could be a deeply selfish action, and the maker vampire is trying to keep this person close to them and bind them to them in some perverse way through a blood bond of sorts. And so that's something that's really interesting that you can explore in fiction, because like the maker vampire is ultimately the murder weapon, and that murder weapon stays with them eternally. And you could write some really interesting stories about that, and one day I hope to do the same. Hell yeah for women's rights and women's wrongs. Okay, Logan, I'm genuinely so glad that of all the times to pipe in, that's like when you're like, you know what, I've been quiet for a bit. I support women's rights, women's wrongs. Thank you for that. Thank you for adding your support.
I have not had much good fortune with my children of darkness, but I am indeed not the only judge of character.
You got kids, Andy?
I had many dark children before I recognized the gravity inherent in doing so. I only wish more of my brethren could learn what a responsibility it is to begin the unlife of another. I know the internet is a passing fad. I have seen technology come and go, so I can trust my own expertise.
I think you're doing a little always right there, Andy. A lot of folks had unwavering confidence that the fax machine was going to stick around forever, but they weren't right neither.
Oh my god, I used to work in an office that still had a fax machine, and I had to learn how to use that shit. I'm a 90s baby. I grew up in, like, from cassette tapes to CD players to MP3s to iPhones. So I had to adapt to a lot of changes in technology. Fax machines is the one form of technology that I will never wrap my brain around and stubbornly refuse to do so.
Truly? I still use my fax machine. It is the preferred mode of communication among vampires here in Germany.
Heck, I guess that just proves no one is always right about technology. I think I get it, boss. If I had found folks to listen to other than myself, maybe I wouldn't have joined up with Ernie's gang.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You had plenty of reasons for making the choices you made. Reflecting on them is what helps us to grow.
They're still used for sensitive documents due to how hard it is to intercept. Oh, absolutely. And that was one of the main reasons why the company I worked with did use a fax machine. But it was more like important shipping documents or like private documents that need to be sent between offices.
Yeah, I'm a lucky fella all in all. I did some stuff with those vampires that I was pretty sure erased any humanity I had left. But I was wrong. Them transcendentalists I hold up with were ready to help me no matter how nasty I was. And I know I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything.
I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything. Is that so, Samuel? Can you point out your own distortion there?
Always right?
Samuel, you are discounting your own efforts in the incredible changes you have made. Few vampires have such resiliency. I ask once more, what is the distortion you are displaying when you say you owe the Transcendentalists everything?
Disqualifying the positive?
It's my old favorite sneaking up on me, disqualifying the positive. I did plenty of work on myself.
That's right, Samuel. And why were the Transcendentalists able to help you? We just went over it tonight.
I wasn't mind
I
reading?
wasn't assuming they thought I was scum, which would have been mind reading. I'll let them help me.
Excellent, Samuel.
There we are.
Your capacity for self-reflection, and so quickly, is truly inspiring. I almost feel as though my blood is circulating on its own.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just a fella.
You have earned a reprieve from disqualifying the positive, my friend. Embrace it. I believe we have had a productive session today. Let us not press matters. This is difficult work, and you are handling it wonderfully. How do you feel?
You know, I feel okay. Somehow it's better than feeling good. What happened is what happened. Some bad stuff happened to me, and I did some bad stuff. And none of it lasts forever. That's the nice thing about having all the time in the world.
Hell yeah.
Your trials have made you wise indeed, my dear Samuel. Now rest, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you a good night.
Yeah, I believe it's early coffin time for me tonight. Have a good night, Andy.
You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace.
Going downstairs again? Oh. I wanted to see Crimson.
Greetings. You look a bit pale. May I offer you something to drink?
1 second. You're so hot. It's so distracting. Okay, I should really read some of previous ones. Where, because these are all like about my personal experiences. Let's read from May 10th, 2024. So I know the internet's been driving the mortals batty, but dang if that infected us vampires too. I got a new client that has half the world watching her play video games online. What's that all about? Next thing you know, they've been making cinemas where you stand behind the screen and watch folks watching the movies. The world sure is a strange place. Andy says it's for new, that's it for new clients, and I'm grateful for that. I've been feeling a little cooped up here in the city, and I'm taking a weekend trip to the mountains out in Hans. Gonna take the Autobahn. I'm past fearing death anyway. May 13th, 2024. I had a great weekend. I really needed to get out in nature again. I saw a whole bunch of funny birds I never saw back home and just enjoyed staying out under the stars. When I did run into mortals, they didn't speak a lot of English, but they could definitely do the accent. I guess they think all Americans sound like me. I couldn't get too close to them, though, so I had to live on local wildlife blood. I drank from a boar. Not bad, but could have done without the bristles. I'm back in Leipzig now. Just learned 3 more cognitive distortions. I think I'm getting the hang of this thing. June 10th, 2024. It's been a hell of a month. I've got a full caseload of clients. I'm picking up new friends at Immernacht, and Andy says I've been doing a great job. I learned 3 more cognitive distortions tonight. I think I'm really getting the hang of this thing. I'm also learning a lot about Crimson. There's something special about that lady. I can see why Andy's a fan of hers. Seems like she could be doing a lot more than running a bar, but maybe that's me doing some should statements. Oh, I took a little trip to Dresden. Heck of a place. They had this emperor named Augustus the Strong who spent all Germany's money on porcelain. Wish I could have been his therapist. Okay, ain't nothing more to read. Fair enough.
Yeah, you got any drinker's blood?
I know you are joking. You will not dilute your blood before a session.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I just don't know who I'm meeting tonight. Is it gonna be Dr. Drain or that Lord Luridus fella?
I mean, Lord Luridus was a lot, but it was fun. He was fun. He knew how to
You met
party.
a single individual last time, and you will meet only a single individual this time. Do not let Dr. Drain's avoidance of accountability confuse you.
You saw the guy, though. Lord Luridus ain't nothing like Dr. Drain.
And why do you think that is, Samuel?
Well, maybe it's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lord Luridus.
Correct, Samuel. A mild change in personality would be within Dr. Drain's control. Luridus is not, and therefore, Dr. Drain relinquishes control. Prepare yourself, my friend. Let us find the darkness that lives within Dr. Drain.
Okay, so should statements are his big thing. What are some other ones? I have a feeling some of these newer ones are going to pop up. I think disqualifying the positive is one thing that he does a lot with, like, diminishing his scientific achievements. Control fallacy, not being able to control. I think he's got quite an ego in him, so I think always right might be something. We still have 2 more that we're going to unlock later? Damn. What's another one that he does? He's also quite black and white. Where's mind reading or blaming? I think blaming might crop up as well. So let's go with these ones. Disqualifying the positive, control fallacy, always right, and blaming.
Alright, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Do not fear, Samuel. I shall not let Dr. Drain hurt you, no matter what he is calling himself. Do what you do best.
I will, I promise. And here he comes, whoever he is today. Doc?
Okay, cool. So I wasn't sure if I would need to move the webcam, but we're all good.
Somewhat taciturn today, then. Well, don't be upset with me. I did warn you about that beast. At least now you recognize the urgency in being rid of him. Perhaps now we can stop beating about the bush and actually fix my addiction problem. I'm here to help, but if we're gonna lick this thing, we gotta do it honestly. And that means getting to the root of the problem.
Damn right.
I tire of this self-examination process. There must be something efficacious that I can do. Perhaps some sort of aversion therapy. I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that villain just go away.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Then you gotta be willing to address the big old elephant in the room. And what is that?
I mean, no, I'm not gonna choose it, but the guy knows how to party.
You and Lord Luridus ain't 2 different people. You keep talking about him like he's someone else, but you both got the same brain in there. Complete and utter nonsense. You've met him. We share absolutely nothing in common. And what's more, I am fully aware that he hates me. Take a look at this note he left on my desk. That's supposed to be you there with the micropenis?
Oh, honey.
Indeed. Juvenile humor, to be sure. Certainly nothing I would produce.
Wah.
The same penis, though? Quite so. I have no doubt he does the most terrible things with it.
Oh my
Somehow
god.
he's got a different brain than you do, but the same penis. Something ain't adding up here, Doc.
Mm-hmm.
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does.
Control fallacy?
Dr. Drain seems to assign himself no responsibility at all for the actions of Lord Luridus. Is this fair?
Is that always right then?
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does.
Damn it.
Dr. Drain seems to assign himself no responsibility at all for the actions of Lord Luridus. Is this fair?
Could be blaming.
I resent.
There we go.
You're a pretty responsible fella, but you're giving Lord Luridus more credit than he deserves.
What on earth are you talking about?
You know that old stereotype mortals like to spread about us where we can't go into a place until we're invited?
A ludicrous idea with no basis in scientific truth.
Ain't you giving Lord Luridus your permission to come in and do what he does when you take that plasma stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't invite him in the first time. I had no idea what I had created. That his presence would become an addiction was not known to me.
Dr. Drain, you're a scientist. Your stock and trade is in facts, ain't it? Let's leave thought out of this for now. You gotta be my scientist here and stick to what we know.
Very well. Yes. The genesis of Lord Luridus was in the actions and choices I took. Are you quite satisfied?
Getting there.
Doc, we ain't here for my satisfaction. Do you really think that?
Well, the fact that I am upset right now certainly lends credence to the idea that you are trying to shame me.
I won't lie to you, Doc. The people that Lord Luridus has hurt probably would have a bone to pick with you. But I ain't here to punish nobody. That ain't the way to help you. In this room, we're working together. You're doing the hard work, and I'm just giving you support. Catch my drift, partner?
And so you do me even greater shame through kindness. I cannot win. Perhaps I should simply let that beast, Lord Luridus, have his way with me.
Should?
Come on now, Doc. You're jumping right to doom there. There are so many ways this therapy thing could go for you. It ain't we destroy Lord Luridus or Lord Luridus wins. Jumping right to catastrophe just ain't realistic. Already you're fighting him by being here. That means there's definitely something in the middle. And working together, we'll make things better. Maybe not completely better. This work ain't never done.
Of course, I am forgetting myself. I'm not usually prone to extremes. I shall attempt to be more mindful.
I ain't expecting you to be perfect, Doc. And I don't want you to expect perfection from yourself either. What I'm asking you for is self-compassion. That ain't erasing blame. It's just approaching yourself from a place of understanding. That's a scientific method, ain't it?
I doubt many in the scientific community would agree with such a statement, but I believe I understand the thrust of it. We cannot address facts if we mask them in emotionality.
That's exactly it, Doc. I couldn't have said it better myself.
We're getting somewhere.
Indeed. Thus my attempt to synthesize the thought properly.
Well, thank the dark powers that made us. Someone in here's the smart one.
Very well. We shall take a strategic, scientifically sound approach. We will agree upon facts, develop hypotheses, test and validate.
Whatever floats your boat, Doc.
If I rely on the science, I will never be wrong.
Hold on a sec. Before we jump in, Doc, I gotta challenge you. Even science ain't gonna make it certain you're always right. The answers science gives you might not be the answers that are best for you. I just want you to keep your mind open, alright?
Okay.
My mind is always open. I'm a scientist.
Indeed you are.
I'm just gonna reflect that back to you and see if you think that's true. You're saying being a scientist means your mind is always, without fail, open.
Well, I suppose that sounds a bit ridiculous. Very well. I shall endeavor to ensure that my thinking is flexible.
You're right. Google says they're both voiced by Sirius Nemati. Interesting. So Sam and Drain both have the same voice actor. Interesting. Interesting.
Well, sounds good to me, compadre. Let's start assembling them facts. Can I ask you some questions then?
He's very talented, I will say. Because it's definitely like two different accents, but also he has slightly different cadences of speech for both characters, which is very cool. I'll be working out, but I'll keep the stream on. If you name drop me, I'll be around. Okay. Good to know, Logan. Thank you so much for dropping by and enjoy working out. And thank you so much for keeping the stream open. It really does help.
You may. Let us begin.
Alright, so you told me that the thing that makes your plasma addicting is how good it makes you feel when you wake up from it. From your scientific perspective, what makes it feel good?
From a chemical perspective, good feelings, or positive emotions, are the result of neurotransmitter action. Considering the specific emotions felt in the immediate moment are contentment and satisfaction, it is certain that I am experiencing an oxytocin and dopamine release. It is a primal limbic response. In laboratory settings, we observe a constant drive in animals towards stimulating the release of amygdala-receptive neurotransmitters.
Science!
I think you're gonna need to boil that down for me, Doc.
I did not come here to teach, but so be it. Ask your questions.
What's the limbic system do?
The limbic system functions as the emotional center of the brain, responsible for emotional responses such as joy, fear, and anger.
So it's like the part of my brain deciding if I should be scared of a rattlesnake or happy about a belly full of blood?
Precisely. It plays a crucial role in forming memories and making decisions based on emotional experiences. Often called the lizard brain, it's evolutionarily one of the older parts of the brain, indicating its fundamental role in regulating survival instincts.
I've been called lizard brain before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment.
Neurotransmitters?
What's this about neurotransmitters?
Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. For example, social bonding reliably triggers a release of oxytocin, creating a sense of security and attachment.
So if I'm reading you right, when I'm feeling all snug after a good feed, it's them oxytocin neurotransmitters doing their thing?
Exactly. This process is an integral part of our brain's reward system, encouraging behaviors that are perceived as beneficial for our survival and well-being.
So survival feels good, basically.
Yes, though I would not publish such a statement in an academic paper.
Survival feels good. A plus science.
So what's all this stuff really mean in the end, Doc? Why's this neurotransmitter stuff even matter?
An intriguing question. Naturally, emotion does not have a practical evolutionary application on its own. However, these emotions signal to the reptilian brain whether or not we are under threat.
Oh, well, dang, now I think we're getting somewhere. I think the answer's right in front of us.
Oh? And what is it that your rooting, tooting brain can synthesize that mine cannot?
Oh, Lord Lourdes feels safer than Dr. Drain.
You don't feel safe on your own. Taking that plasma forces you to get that neurotransmitter hit.
An intriguing theory. However, evidence stands against it. Like it or not, I am a vampire. The only thing that may threaten me is the sun or a more powerful vampire. I should not be experiencing feelings of mortal danger. I am not immortal. Logically, I should know such a thing is ridiculous.
Should?
There's them should statements again, Doc. It doesn't matter what logic says. You still got that part of your brain that says it's in danger, and that part doesn't care about logic.
An astute point, and an inconvenient one. That we should be saddled with such vestigial, primal concerns is most unfortunate.
Can't avoid the fact that we still got them human concerns. At least we don't gotta poop, huh?
Oh dear, and you are doing so well. At least I have nothing to fear from you.
It's true, though. We're still animals, partner. We gotta satisfy the animal. Just not through pooping.
Through blood and sex and other fun things.
But we are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Control fallacy?
Poor Dr. Drain is diminishing the entire human, or rather animal experience in his pursuit of logical outcomes. Quite dogmatic for a scientist.
Okay, disqualifying the positive then, I
We
think.
are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Sometimes, Doc, you are just too smart for your own good. You're logicking away all the good things about being human. I mean, let's say we freed ourselves from those biological concerns. Got rid of all them fears and insecurities and quirks. Why are we doing anything then? I don't know about you, Doc, but I don't want to turn into a computer. All them great discoveries and works of art came from our humanity.
Damn right.
Perhaps it is so. Do you know, I met Isaac Newton several times. The young fellow was motivated indeed, but it was his human vindictiveness that made him so effective. All those motherfuckers who called me a nerd are going to pay, mark my words, he would say. Or something along those lines.
Quote up from Isaac Newton.
So, he was making sure none of those motherfuckers could hurt him.
That was certainly part of it. It was not just a love of science that drove the man. It is such a disappointing notion, however, to think that we cannot transcend our reptilian brain, even when we are beyond death.
We're dealing in facts, though, and I think what we're coming to is that your reptilian brain doesn't feel safe.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. But I must admit that it is somehow true. What a devastating revelation. Dr. Drain, for all his scientific achievement, is just an emotional little laboratory rat who bases all his decisions in fear.
No, you've done good things.
Yeah, you just jump right to that extreme. You're probably the smartest fella I ever met, Doc. You ain't a science god, but who is? I think there's a lot of room between being a lab rat and being the perfect logical being.
You are, of course, correct.
Thank you.
I'm letting my emotions get the better of me. Most unscientific.
You're doing your best.
Doc, I want to go back to one of them things I was telling you about in our first session, and that's self-compassion. Let's say you had some vampire apprentice, a scientist like you, who didn't know nothing like what you know, and said they were down on themselves for all the reasons you are. What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that progress is non-linear. The scientific method, in fact, celebrates failure. That which does not conform to theory still informs theory.
Any chance you could put the scientist away and talk to their human side?
Well, I suppose I would say that it is fine, that all things are temporary, and the universe does not care to condemn them.
So how can we get you to say them things to yourself, Doc?
My situation is not the same. I was trained in the age of discovery. I bear the responsibility for that age. But if this project of mine, to create the blood that will sustain the world, is not what I am here for, then what is my purpose?
Well, let me ask you. What's the purpose of a gopher?
Rodentia, geomedy. Rodents endemic to North America.
Science,
known for their
science,
tunneling
science.
ability and as agricultural pests. I believe they are the prey of owls, snakes, and coyotes, and are omnivorous themselves, consuming vegetables, insects, and small mammals.
I wasn't expecting you to be so thorough. I don't think I knew half that stuff.
I have come to learn nearly everything there is to know about mammalian biology as a result of my research. Please get to the point.
I think I forgot what it was now.
That is not encouraging.
Hold on a sec, I think I've got it.
Gophers have a purpose?
Gophers have a purpose. Driving people crazy, that's what. Used to wreak havoc on the farmland back in Missouri.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is not their purpose. It's an ill-informed anthropocentric philosophy defined and subscribed to entirely by said anthropocentrists.
I didn't know bugs could do that.
Anthropocentrists, not arthropods. Humans. Homo sapiens. I am saying that you have created a purpose for the gopher that the gopher is entirely unaware of.
So, who made your purpose, Dr. Drain?
What? Well, I did, I suppose.
So if you made it, you can change it, right?
We're getting somewhere?
How could I change my purpose? I have always been a scientist. So that's what I am.
All right, well, let's take that scientific approach and try to figure out who the man behind the scientist is.
Very well. If we look at the behavior of our subject, myself, we can infer a few things. If we examine my behavior, one can draw a comparison to a threatened higher-thinking mammal. I spend much time in ensuring personal safety and security.
What about your more peaceful moments? What do they look like?
I believe these feelings are only medically induced through my special plasma. However, Dr. Drain appears to be at rest when he is full and satisfied.
And your synthetic blood doesn't do that for you.
I am forced to admit that at present, it does not.
We'll get there.
Dr. Drain, what do you think of drinking something a little more fresh and human?
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Luridus, is the source of all that is base and vulgar about my person.
Always right?
Once again, Dr. Drain absolves himself of Lord Luridus' actions. Does he not invite Lord Luridus into his life?
Control fallacy then.
I will not. I do not have to.
Damn
Once
it.
again, Dr. Drain absolves himself of Lord Luridus' actions. Does he not invite Lord Luridus into his life?
Blaming then, I think.
I will not. I do not have to.
Doc,
There we
you're
go.
blaming Lord Luridus for something common to all vampires, including yourself. We need blood. That's just how it is. Ain't Lord Luridus' fault. Now I know you ain't comfortable with that need, but you can't offload everything you ain't happy with onto Lord Luridus. That just makes him worse.
You have not been listening to me at all if you believe I have absolved myself of all vampiric frailty.
I didn't say that. I'm saying you're distancing yourself from your needs by saying they're Lord Luridus' needs. Well, what if you indulge Lord Luridus once in a while? Maybe you could keep him from coming out.
Do you not understand?
I wanna
what
see
I've
him
been
again.
working toward for the last 400 years. I will finally be able to transcend this thing that I am. I shall be a parasite no more.
Control fallacy? You can't control
Come
that?
on, Dr. Drain. You're a scientist. You know mankind ain't got that kind of control over nature. Ain't you ever seen that movie where they bring back the dinosaurs?
That film was scientific drill. Its simplistic understanding of DNA should have alienated its audience immediately. But then, who can guess with Americans?
It was a good story, though. And in the end, it wasn't a story about DNA. It was a story about controlling nature, which I'm sure you know ain't never worked.
Your argument does not hold weight when your source of truth is a fantasy film.
Dr. Drain, we really got to talk about some kind of middle path here. Back home, we tried the whole abstinence thing a few times, and it didn't go too well.
No, it did
We
not.
tried to stop drinking, and that just made people only do bad drinking. We tried telling teenagers sex was evil, and that just made them want it even more while being ashamed of themselves. What if you just tried to do some of them things Lord Luridus does? Just don't do them the way he does.
I find the idea utterly repellent.
Yeah, but then you go and take that plasma, and Lord Luridus makes the decisions. We don't want that, right?
Fine. Fine. I'll drink some blood.
Good boy.
But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
Should?
The entire world will suffer for Dr. Drain's failure? This is a stark vision for the future that he holds.
Okay, control fallacy then.
But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
Doc, you really can't be putting the weight of the world on your shoulders. That ain't something you can control, compadre.
He's a good boy. Yes, he is.
Now, I know you're a capable fella, but the world is gonna turn with or without you.
You think so? I can't imagine someone with my highly rational mind feeling so strongly if my prediction weren't firmly rooted in fact.
I know it all seems real heavy right now. Just show yourself a little compassion and patience. Beating yourself up over a future that ain't happened yet isn't gonna help you. We need to go back to this thing I brought up before. You're a smart fella, Dr. Drain, but sometimes you're forgetting vampire commonality.
God damn it, Logan. Of course, the moment I say good boy, you instantly perk up your ears. Love you, Logan.
We've all felt like the world was ending or that we're awful monsters. But them feelings are our perceptions alone.
Yes, I'm aware. Perhaps I've been a little too human in my wobbles. However, you forget my training in history. I am not an average vampire. I was trained by the great Professor William Harvey.
Good for you, mate, but the world's gonna still keep turning.
I have had 4 centuries to unlock the secrets of animal biology. I have a duty to humanity and to my own legacy. A duty I should not fail in. Otherwise, what was it all for?
I'm not sure if that's a should statement or disqualifying the positive.
Hold your horses there, amigo. You say you've got a duty to humanity? Well, that ain't scientific at all. It ain't just anthropocentric, it's Dr. Drain-centric. Nobody said you had to do anything. Remember when we first started talking, I told you about them should statements? That's what you're doing, compadre. Just remember that them shoulds are yours.
So he can make catfolk. Okay, listen, Bran, why do I have an awful feeling that word's gotten around about Dr. Drain's like scientific achievements in anthropology and stuff, and he got a single letter from someone like, so hypothetically, can you make cat girls a thing? Because this is my OC and I really want it to be real. And he put a pause on his scientific like research just to find the motherfucker who sent that letter and kill him.
Yes, I must be frustrating to you, Sam. I invoke the same delusions over and over again.
Hey, come on, Doc. You should be proud of yourself. You know what the difference is between you and vampires who never improve themselves?
You're here in therapy and you're doing your best and you're a good boy.
You're here. You've made a commitment to getting your head on straight. And you're getting there, my friend. Already you're making some big changes and investing in yourself. I can see it. So let's cut Dr. Drain a break. How about it, amigo? He doesn't need the weight of the world on him. There's only one thing he should do, and that's have a little understanding and empathy for himself. You get me?
Yes, I get you. Very well. I shall try to keep a clear head. And I will arrange to drink some real blood. There's plenty of it in the lab. I shall just liberate some of it.
Good man. We'll talk about how it's gone next month, all right?
Indeed. Until then, Sam. And thank you for your patience.
I ain't got nothing but time, amigo. You can thank me by being patient with yourself.
All the same, you have my thanks. I shall see you in a few weeks then. Farewell.
Well done indeed, Samuel. I think we are starting to see a new version of the good doctor in the making.
I hope you're right, boss. That Phil is awful hard on himself.
That is normal, my friend. Being a vampire takes a lot of self-acceptance. He is only taking his first steps in discovering this.
Yeah, fair enough. It took other people forgiving me for me to forgive myself.
And now you pass on this gift of compassion to Dr. Drain. Now, Samuel, the evening is still young. See what the night has to offer downstairs.
Sorry, I'm a little tired tonight. No shocker there. So sometimes I'll just kind of like space out when Andromakos is speaking, and then all I hear in my head is like blah blah blah, proper name, place name, important vampire stuff, and I'm just staring at his beautiful face, just oh.
That sounds good, Andy.
Okay, thanks for the hydrate check. I think I need it.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Oh, back at the club. Hell yes.
The doc session's feeling dumber than ever.
Okay, what have we learned? Session 3 with Dr. Drain. Great session with the doc tonight. Sometimes he being a real big old nerd can be a real help. He's looking at his problem more rationally now. Likes to blame Lord Luridus for his more animal needs. That is, he denies his own need and Luridus fulfills them. Has a lot of identity tied up in being a rational scientist. Wants to transcend being a vampire. Must drink real blood. I encourage the doc to drink some real blood. I think his head ain't right because he's starving. I think he gets that it's a biology thing.
Check in with Crimson. She's always got some bartender's wisdom to share. Howdy, Crimson. Looks like a nice crowd tonight.
They're always a nice crowd, cowboy. We like to maintain an asshole-free zone.
And you're doing a great job. This place is a vibe. I love
Try
it.
not to be an asshole, then.
I'm not worried about you, cowboy. You had a session tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, with the doctor fella. We had a hard talk about what being a vampire means. He's having a hard time coming to terms with it, even after 400 years.
I can understand that. I've stopped aging for the last 20 years and don't know how I feel about it yet. How do you think it went with him?
I think it went well.
I think we're finally getting somewhere, actually. It's funny, a lot of vampires forget they're human, but he keeps forgetting he's a vampire. But just like we can't opt out of being human, we can't opt out of being vampires either.
Must have been a hard talk, cowboy. I sometimes wonder what I am. Staying the same age, drinking Andy's blood to live. Don't get me wrong, I like not being dead, but I still feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Is this a good time to ask why you don't just join the dark side? It ain't that bad being dead.
I'm just not sure what I'd do with forever, you know? Eternity's a long time.
That's very fair.
Yeah, I think a lot of us vampires can't answer that question either. And I don't think there's one answer anyway.
There you go. So I guess I'll keep putting off the question.
But nobody's rushing you, Crimson.
You think I'd let anyone? But thanks for listening, cowboy. Now why don't you go mingle?
Was that cute girl there?
There's a new fella in the kink room who's very interested to meet you.
Okay.
I guess I'll go be social then. Thanks, Crimson.
Okay.
Wait a sec, that ain't...
Greetings, my child.
Is he single? Is he... To say that if I was in this club, I would gravitate towards this man like a moth to a flame. Because metalhead guys, like, with long hair... Ah! Okay! I'm trying to focus, but... Okay, hi. How are you? You come here often?
Keep your distance, amigo. I know our kind ain't had good history, but I ain't in the mood for an exorcism or nothing.
Sam, it's a sex thing, don't ask.
Ah, my child of the dark. If I were to exorcise you, nothing would be left when I was done.
I'm so sorry, it just hit me. 1, he has an Irish accent. 2, I think he's voiced by Matt Mercer. Oh no! Oh no!
Only the good Lord is free of sin. We are all children of darkness.
It's Matt! It's Matt! Oh no!
Holy smokes, what Bible have you been reading?
The best kind.
I know my scripture, my son. However, I am by scripture and dark metal ordained, not by any church of man.
I'm in love.
So, you're some kind of freelance priest?
Yes, I suppose I am. It is the only way I can give succor to those who need it most.
So I gotta ask, seeing as we're in a kink room, what kind of sucker are we talking about?
Many.
I follow in the path of the Lord. I share my body, and I share my blood.
Ain't this a little blasphemous for your kind?
Another hydro check, thank you.
To whom, my child? God is in everything, including you, sweet vampire. Can God blaspheme against himself? I merely wish to give comfort to those who live in darkness. And so, I choose to live in darkness with them.
I'm struggling to find the brain function to continue.
Come, my son. I shall give succor to you.
Well, alright. Maybe if you stop calling it that.
I will say that is a particularly weird word to use. Sustenance is... Sustenance or sacrament. If you called it a sacrament, the floodgates are open. There already are. I'm sorry. Oh, this is tricky. Is that right?
Thou shalt not want, my son. Are you comforted?
Oh, Lord.
I guess I am.
I know those of my faith have hunted your kind. Perhaps we fear our own sin, so we seek the sins of others. I seek only the Lord in everything, as do we all, whether we know it or not.
Where is Abjurak when we need him? Like, don't get me started. Like, almost every single game I play of Baldur's Gate 3, I have to go visit Abjurak. And he is booked. If he was real and he was here, he would be booked. Solid.
You ain't wrong, I suppose. Hey, a little awkward, but what's your name, fella?
I am Kieran. It means little dark one. The night always did call to me.
Well, Kieran, I'm Sam, and I appreciate the blood, but I'm gonna turn in. A little sleepy now.
Go with God, my child of the night.
And also with you.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
A fine evening to you, Samuel. Are you ready for tonight's session with Signora Deste?
I need a second. I just need, I'm gonna... 1 second. Lord, we are gathered in prayer today. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're making some good progress.
I'm also like very tired today from all the writing I've been doing. So I think it was a combination between like both this game is great and everyone's voice is hot. But secondly, it was just the immediate like it's like seeing your favorite food on display at the buffet and just immediately like just incomprehensible, like head empty, no thoughts, just like But knowing my dumbass, even if I was dressed like the absolute goddess that I am, if I saw a person like that I was like immediately like innately attracted to, like you have all of the traits that I find absolutely irresistible, I would still kind of fumble over myself and not talk to them unless it was clear that they were inviting me into their space and wanted to talk to me or sort me out. Like, because one, I'm just so unsure about like coming across as like pushy or creepy to people who just aren't aren't vibing, honestly. So that's why I kind of gauged, like, you interested, like, kind of lingering eye contact, like, you interested? Like, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, let's talk. But if I'm like, I try and meet their eye contact and they catch it and then just look away, like, okay, no worries, they're not interested, and I'll just keep going on my merry way, get another drink. But error 404, like, honestly, Logan, it was just like dead ass, like, head empty, just error 404, like, blue screened just across my eyes of like, boom. Okay, I just need to focus again.
That is wonderful. Remember, though, that the road to inner peace is not a straight line.
So you're saying that character's a snack if you're comparing them to buffet food? I would say they're a delicious, delicious slice of dark chocolate cake that I would very much like to sink my teeth into.
True enough. I like to say I didn't make my path. Nature did.
Samuel, you have the makings of a poet.
Oh, I meant it more literally. When I was walking in the woods, I just walked where the land led me.
That's not a snack, that's a whole ass meal, indeed.
But you see, this is a wonderful metaphor. If there is a valley between two mountains, that is the path nature takes us on. We often choose to climb the mountain instead when the easier path is made for us. Your experience guides your intuition more than you might expect, my friend.
Guess it's that peasant wisdom the Senora mentions.
Be careful with the labeling, my friend.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I ain't ashamed of being a peasant. I'm just folks, as we like to say.
I can see why the Senora has become quite fond of you.
Stop laughing like that.
Are you prepared for your session with her?
Yes, I need to compose myself, otherwise she's gonna smell the sin radiating off of me.
I think with our progress, there might be some other distortions to focus on. Let me think.
Okay, before we do that, what was her thing again? Isabella died so she could control her family. Okay, so control fallacy, husband, some both disappointments. Really hates the Spanish. Okay, so control fallacy and also labeling, I think, were two of the big things. So labeling. Okay, always right is probably a big thing with her. Personalization, I think, was a big thing. And overgeneralization.
All right, locked and loaded.
The people of your country have so many colorful phrases having to do with firearms. I do not understand the obsession.
I can't explain it neither.
I shall leave you alone with the Senora, Samuel.
Howdy, Senora. Good to see you tonight.
You are looking forward to seeing me.
You are lovely and charming, and I need a cold bucket of water after what I just went through.
Well, sure I was. You're an interesting person, Senora. It's a privilege to get to know you.
I suppose you have learned something of manners yourself. I thought a lot about the things we talked about last time, you know.
Oh yeah? What about exactly?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality.
Foolish?
Senora, what's calling yourself foolish doing for you? You're a principled lady. That ain't foolishness.
What else do you call a woman who forever fights with reality?
Just making it through life as a woman, really.
If I want to be literal, I'd call her a fighter.
Damn right.
It's a better label than fool.
Oh, perhaps it is my despair speaking. Would that I had listened to the simpletons in my life earlier.
Labeling again?
Maybe you can start by not calling them simpletons.
I meant it as a compliment. I wish I could be a simpleton.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that.
I mean what I say. Look at me, with my grand plans, my status, my dynasty, and all the pain that they have brought me. Who is the true fool, me or the simpleton?
Well, what if we're not fools or simpletons? What if we're just people being people? There's a lot of room between worms and gods, Senora.
Again, you prove your pastoral wisdom.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing some thinking. You were putting so much pressure on yourself to be the one keeping your family going. I can tell how much it was weighing on you.
I spent so long trying to fix them, trying to transform them into something that they were not. May I talk to you about my ex-husband, Sam?
Of course you can. I know he gave you a lot of grief.
I'm thinking just because I'm a little bit worn out tonight, I might call it a night after our session with Signora and save Edmund and Medi for next week, I think. Because I want to pace myself with this game. I don't want to rush into it. But then I think it also then works out quite nicely if I then eventually get to a point where we start from the beginning of all of the sessions. Because we're kind of cutting like them in half. Like we'll have Dr. Drain and the Signora, and then Emmett and Medi, and then our session with Sam and Andromakos. So yeah, let's take our time with this game because I'm loving it so much. Also, there's a whole ass DLC with that's called couples counseling or couples therapy that I really want to check out at some point.
He hurt me deeply in so very many ways. He was the start of all my delusions because I thought I could fix him. I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. That perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici.
Control fallacy?
Poor Signora d'Este. Her husband's failings had little to do with her.
Okay, personalization, I think.
I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. That perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici.
But you know that who your husband was didn't have nothing to do with you, right? Everyone comes into a relationship with their own problems.
Yes, I believe I understand that now. But if I had been more like that Borgia woman, he would have been more content.
But here's the thing, Signora. Your husband's issues didn't have anything to do with you. He was gonna bring him into the relationship regardless.
You are right. Who he was not my fault.
Exactly.
I know I have been arguing with reality, as you have said, but the idea of a fruitful marriage, sanctified by God, this was the only reality I had. But that reality did not match with mine. God could not have blessed both our marriage and riddled Frankie's penis with French diseases.
French diseases?
We used to call syphilis the malfrance.
Ooh. Ooh, that's awful.
Diseases don't belong to any nationality. You sound like a certain politician from back home.
Do not insult me. Have I not suffered enough with my husband's disgusting malady? It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
Personalization?
The Signora was seeking a justification for her feelings, and I believe she found one.
It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
Or is that control fallacy?
I
There we
wanna
go.
challenge you on something there. That sounds like a kind of hopeless statement. Like you're doomed to keep being tested on God's terms.
Perhaps it was hopeless. As you said, Isabella d'Este and Francesco Gonzaga could not change their natures.
That's true, but here's the thing. Does that mean you were doomed? Or were you just doomed on God's terms? I think this just needs a little reframing. I know you were dealt a rough hand, but doesn't necessarily mean you were being tested. Sometimes we just gotta make do with the hand we got. What I'm suggesting is that then and now, a radical acceptance approach could have helped you.
What do you mean?
I don't want to suggest polyamory because that's something that clearly she's not really maybe interested in. Secret arrangement?
You could have had some sort of secret arrangement. That was pretty common back then, right?
Oh, we did have a secret arrangement. The arrangement was that he kept secrets from me and I pretended not to know about them.
Had you ever considered talking about it?
I could not. You do not know what it was like back then. A woman, even one such as I, was always subject to her husband.
That's true.
I did not have a say in his affairs. I had to play the part of the good wife and mother. You must understand, I only earned my significant power by playing the societal game.
But he knew you were aware of his indiscretions, didn't he?
It was hard to deny when he approached me with that rotten thing between his legs.
So why not bring the issue out in the open?
He would have become angry, I am sure. Perhaps he would have beaten me and taken away the privileges I had worked so hard to earn. Perhaps it is pointless to tread over the past again and again. What has happened has happened. It has been nearly 5 centuries. I should not let the past haunt me so. If I am true, Sam, I am still very angry about all the lies I was told. I may be harboring some resentment.
Maybe? Maybe, Senora? Maybe just a little bit of resentment? I mean, she's allowed to be quite resentful of, like, the piece of shit her husband was, but a little bit of resentment?
You don't say.
You will understand when I tell you of Frankie's greatest cruelty. I will tell you that the man, for all his fighting spirit, had very weak sperm. For he could not sprout a male seed in my womb.
Oh, did she have an affair then? And that's how she got pregnant?
My first child was a girl. I could not have been more embarrassed. Or so I thought, until I had my second child, who was also a girl. I will tell you, Sam, I was a young woman in mourning. I did not emerge from my chambers for weeks. The next time, finally, I had a boy. My beautiful Federico. He was such a charming child. He would entertain me so with his clownish behavior. May I show you a picture, Sam?
Oh,
Well,
sure.
Let's take a look.
Oh.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? He could have been a movie star or a model today, don't you think?
He's sweet. He looks sweet.
Admit it. He is the most handsome boy who ever walked this cursed earth.
Well,
Why am I asking you? What do you know of beauty? Anyway, I gave all of myself to him. All my guidance, all my wisdom, and all of my love. Everyone said, you are doting on him. Give him some air. How dare they tell me my business? I am Isabella d'Este. I know what is right.
Always right?
Senora, I'm sure you knew what was best for your son, but ain't it possible that those people might have been able to help you? It's lonely work when you feel like you can't listen to anyone else.
Are you telling me how I should have raised my son?
No, just offering some general advice.
I got a better sense of self-preservation than that, Senora. But you gotta admit, this Nosferatu thinking of being always right is pretty exhausting, ain't it?
Oh, that is true. And as it turned out, pointless. It did not matter in the end. Frankie, in his supreme foolishness, managed to get himself captured by the French. He ransomed himself out of prison with something more precious than all the gold in Venezia, more valuable than the Pope's seat. He sold my son, my beautiful Federico.
Dang, that must have been devastating, Senora. I can't imagine how painful that must have been.
No, you cannot. For you will never be a mother to a son so beautiful, so intelligent, and so pure. But that was not the end of my pain. It was not enough to take my son away. Not content to merely break me, the French, as always, needed to corrupt.
What do you mean the French always needed to corrupt?
They are a debauched people. I know what they are like.
Oh, do you now?
Senora, you're too smart to judge an entire group of people based on an icky sample. Besides, we're vampires. What the hell does it mean to be French or Italian after a century? All the people that made France French back then are dead now.
Yes, of course I am aware. I speak out of anger and hurt.
I figured. But honest heads make for honest hearts, I like to say. What did the French do to your son?
Hey, Zoe Red Fox, how's it going? Welcome back. Hope college is going well.
They sent my sweet Federico to a den of filth, a place where chastity went to die, straight to the crossroads of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Paris.
They sent him to the Vatican.
Even worse.
The Vatican? Seems like that'd be a pretty boring place for a boy to spend time.
I've been to the Vatican City. It is a gorgeous city, especially if you love like classic Roman architecture, and especially if you love visiting churches and beautiful paintings and depictions of religious iconography, it is like, of course you have to be very respectful to everything there, but it is beautiful to visit.
This was Rodrigo Borgia's Vatican. It was a city of prostitutes and perverts, and he was their mayor. My poor Federico. He was a boy of a certain age. I could not have prepared him for the temptations he encountered. When he finally returned to me, he was no longer Isabella d'Este's child. He was the child of Francesco Gonzaga, an experienced whoremonger in his own right.
Labeling?
Hold on a sec. No longer your child? You can't think that's true. You raised that boy, and there's no way he could forget you. Maybe he got up to shenanigans out there in the Vatican, but you're only hurting yourself by erasing your influence on him. Now be honest. Did he lose everything you taught him?
No. He still had an appreciation of art, for which he had some taste. And he had some political acumen, I suppose.
I'm not saying you should forget what happened to your son. That would be pretty unrealistic. But give yourself some credit for the influence you had, huh?
You are kind, Sam. Thank you. But it is hard to forget the child who returned to me. I am a man now, mother, he would say. I do not have to listen to you. And indeed, he did not. Which is why he died of syphilis, just like his depraved father. He did not even have the courtesy to wait until I was dead. Now do you understand why I prefer the illusion of truth and beauty I try to bring to art? My mother told me when my marriage was young, Isabella, you must pretend that all is as it should be. The truth is dark, but you must maintain your own.
I hate to say it, Senora, but I think your mama was spouting a few should statements of her own. Keeping up that illusion must have been draining.
That is why I tried to create my own illusions. If I depicted love and chastity in their ideal form, I could make that illusion come true.
Control fallacy?
Well, Senora, if anyone were strong enough to change the world's morality, it might be you. But I think you know the truth is that you don't have that kind of control. No one does.
Then why am I here, Sam? Why are any of us here? Are we here to eat, sleep, fornicate, and die?
I know a few folk who might say that's why we're here. It's one of them existential questions, ain't it? Here's my take, Senora. I think you're here to be you.
I certainly hope you have something more intelligent to contribute than that.
I don't really. Here's the thing, Senora. None of us is going to change the world overnight, or even in a millennium of nights. But our being here, being ourselves, swings the pendulum in a whole bunch of unknowable ways.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
Overgeneralization?
Isabella sees imperfection as helplessness. Help her see otherwise, my friend.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
Control fallacy?
What I'm saying,
There we go.
Senora, is not that we're powerless. I'm just saying we ain't gonna change the world on our own.
Poor Sam, they insult him so often. Like, I will say, it depends on who your client is, but I imagine for a lot of therapists, you've got to have very thick skin because a lot of people are very resistant to change and acknowledging their own faults. So if they are coming to a therapist saying, like, I'm unhappy with my life, help me fix it, and then the therapist encourages them to dig deeply and see, like, okay, why are you so unhappy? Like, what's wrong? What can you fix about this? A lot of people lash out defensively, like, oh no, it's the world's problem. It's nothing I've done, like, and you're a fucking idiot for saying otherwise. So I think you gotta have really thick skin if you're a therapist, and you gotta hear a lot of dark shit from your clients.
Not everyone's gonna buy what we're selling, but some people are gonna get it. People are still out there talking about the art you brought to the world. Maybe fellas like me don't know who you are. I bet that nasty pope from your time wasn't your biggest fan. But you can't help but be an influence on people. Just not all people. Ain't that so?
I do not know if that is enough for me, Sam.
Well, here's what I think we should do, Senora. All them efforts of yours are always facing outward. How about we spend some time on you?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's work on the things Isabella d'Este likes. Forget about the rest of the world. What are you putting in your art that's for you and not for anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a little embarrassing?
Hush. If you must know.
What is it? Can confirm it firsthand. I'm starting to be the 4th therapist in my family, and I should have known better, I fear. Oh, Zooey Red Fox. Like, I imagine that's why you said that college has been especially tough for you. I completely empathize with you. I personally couldn't be a therapist. I've helped many friends in low points and times of crisis, and to some friends, I had to put, like, a healthy boundary between us because I just didn't feel comfortable, like, hearing the stuff that they were talking about anymore or putting the weight of responsibility on me. So I have so much respect for therapists of all types and helping people get the help they need. So kudos to therapists out there. They do some amazing work.
It is centaurs. I like centaurs.
Oh.
Hey, I ain't gonna judge. Sometimes I like horses better than people too.
Yes, well, they are pleasing to look at.
Now, how about this then? Why don't you pick up a brush and paint yourself up a centaur?
I have not attempted to paint for centuries.
This is just for you, Senora. No expectations. How's that sound?
I cannot believe I revealed this thing to you.
Oh.
I'm glad you did. I'm a lucky fella. I get to know an Isabella this day no one else knows.
And no one else will know, or I will make you suffer. Capiche?
Absolutely.
You got a deal, Senora. I'm here to be supportive, that's all. I hope that when you come back next month, we'll be having a nice conversation about you finding your muse.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Perhaps. Very well, Sam. I do not understand your ways, but I cannot deny you have a certain untamed wisdom. I shall attempt to paint a centaur. This is not what I expected from therapy. But I shall do as you suggest.
Good.
I shall see you in 4 weeks then. Arrivederci, Sam.
Arrivederci, signora.
Oh yeah, see you soon, Senora. Arrivederci.
You're getting closer, Sam.
Goodbye.
It's the thought that counts. He's trying.
Well, Samuel, you never cease to impress. Centaurs.
I don't think you're supposed to know about that, boss.
I am 3,000 years old, my friend. Horse people are somewhere at the very tip of the Tiki iceberg. It is already forgotten.
Good to know.
Well, the Senora's pretty embarrassed about it, so I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself.
Senora Deste is wise to put her faith in you, Samuel. I will gently remind you that relationships between therapists and clients are highly discouraged.
Of course.
Oh, come on, Andy. It ain't like that. Senora Deste is just... You're messing with me.
Of course I am.
Unless.
All right, you know what? I'm going downstairs. I
Oh.
Well earned, Samuel. Please, rest in peace.
Anthony Marcos, can you please just... Stop. Also, Logan, I don't know if you're still lingering and lurking in chat, but I know you have a similar voice to the amazing voice actor who voices Angelo Marcos. If you pull any of this shit on me, darling, you will regret it. You will regret it.
Poor Senora. That lady's holding on to a lot of anger. Reminds me of myself as a young vampire.
Let's go over our notes, shall we? Don't tell me. See, why do I do that? Why do I expose my vulnerabilities to you guys? And have a lovely conversation with my friend in front of like dozens of people. Now I need to hear their voice again. The VOD's up on my channel. You can find it somewhere. Call Steph and British texted in their voice. No! Don't do it! Please! You do that, I'll never call you a good boy again. That's a fact. I will not do that. Okay, let's focus on session 3 with Isabella. The deeper I dig, the angrier Isabella gets. I don't think we're even at the core of it yet, but she is furious as hell that with her husband and son. Her daughter, son more than anything, a little too much maybe. Feels betrayed by both her husband and her son. Seems angry with herself that she wasn't able to control either of them. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Seems angry with herself that she wasn't able to control either of them. Maybe madder at herself than her boys. I try to push Isabella to be a little more selfish. She can't control another human being, so maybe she can worry about herself first. God dang it! Yeah, are you willing to put that on the line, Logan? Because I'm aware of the power of my voice, and you will never hear me say good boy in reference to you ever fucking again if you do that. No you cannot. No you cannot, Sam. You can't. Like, doing voice redemptions for other people in chat, you cannot do it for IRL people to do voices and then send them to me. That's just, I think, crossing a little bit of a weird line between both myself and Logan. While it's a fun joke, let's not push that.
Pretty hot in here tonight. I think I'll get some air.
Also, yes indeed, Logan's not streaming.
Hey, Bert.
Hey, Bert! How you doing, mate?
Same old, huh? So,
Talk about city?
what do you think of Leipzig, Bert? Real fascinating architecture here.
But no. I call people good boys when they have earned it. Because that is a title that must be earned.
Hey, not everyone's into architecture, I get it. So what do you do for fun here? More of a homebody, I guess. Yeah, I'm a little introverted too. Spent 90 years walking in the woods, you know. Yeah, there's nothing I like better in nature. The trees, the plants, the animals. The cities just seem so dead at night. I can tell I'm interrupting. Well, nice talking to you anyway, Bert. I'm gonna head inside.
Have fun, mate.
Hey.
Hey, Crimson, how's the crowd?
What about good girls? Also, another thing. You have to earn that title. Praise must be earned. You have to do a good job in order to be a good insert pronoun here.
Hey,
or gender
cowboy.
identity here.
Busy tonight, but how'd your session go?
I think it went well.
No, I think this lady's starting to realize what she can't control, which is a lot. She's still mad as hell about it, but I think we're getting closer to acceptance.
Say Steph, if I could call you that, which is absolutely fine. Feel free, like, just general terms, you can call me Stephanie, Steph, Miss Swanquills, Stephanie Swanquills, or variations thereof. You seem to like games that are very story-driven, so I can't recommend Where the Water Tastes Like Wine if you don't know about it yet. Probably one of the most unique games I've ever played. Good to know. I'll have a little look and see what that game's about, because I'm very open to recommendations for different games. But I haven't heard of that one.
I know how she feels, cowboy. I feel like I wasted years of my life in DC trying to make the world a better place. But it sounds like you are making progress to me. She's got time to make her peace. That's what Andy says about you vampires.
Yeah, that's true. We can take 40 years or 400, but that's up to us.
In the meantime,
Ooh.
I'll whip something up for a hot summer night.
Ooh, is that like a blood margarita? That would be delicious right now,
What's
actually.
this now?
Blood margarita.
Oh,
Figured a hot-blooded desperado like you could use something cold.
Yeah.
Oh, mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'll let you get back to work and take this up to my coffin for a quiet night.
Night, Sam.
Now let's see, what'll help me reflect on the night?
Oh, I got a little spot for my hat and everything.
I think
Oh.
there's something Omar Khayyam once wrote that I can look up. Or I could watch Buster Keaton almost get himself killed a bunch.
Yeah, I enjoy hearing Sam's voice actor read poetry, so let's go with that.
Well, one of my transcendentalist friends told me about this one. I ain't too good with poetry, but this piece always stuck with me. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash a word out of it. Funny how people in far-off places and times always had some similar perspectives. Omar's right. You can't change the past. Life moves forward. I think that's enough for one night. Better get me some shut-eye. Got the feeling my work's gonna get harder before it gets easier.
And once things are back to normal, I'm just going to save and we're going to draw it to a close tonight.
My dear Samuel, greetings. How are you feeling tonight?
Although I can listen to you talk all day and all night. Okay, and backup save. And with that, let's return to the main menu and call it a night, guys. So, in case it wasn't already obvious, I absolutely love this game. And we even have these extra nights that are, I believe, supplicant to, is supplicant the right word? Probably not. But after you finish the main game, you also have these extra, I think they're one-off nights or one-off encounters that you can do. And there is also the DLC Couples Therapy. So honestly, I love this game so much. I think it's a really interesting idea. I love the dialogue, I love the voice acting, and the art is also really, really cool as well. Overall, it's just a really cool original concept. So I'm very curious to check out what couples therapy is like when we eventually get to the end of this game. And just see where the night takes us, so to speak. So, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. A big thank you to everyone who renewed their subscriptions and also who donated to Mermaids. Every little bit goes a long, long way, and thank you so much for supporting this wonderful trans and non-binary charity here in the UK. It's a shame I couldn't stick around more due to college. Wednesdays, Fridays are very busy for me, but I love the little time I can pay attention here. Happy to be around more. And Zuri Red Fox, you are more than welcome here. I'm very aware that being in the UK, it's a little tricky for people internationally, especially people in the States. But honestly, the fact that so many of you try to intentionally make the time to come to my streams, just even to lurk and hang out and listen to me prattle on about vampires and gothic fashion for hours on end. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and if you've been lurking in the shadows and you like what you've seen so far, please consider following. We would love to have you back at the Blue Rose Respite. You're welcome anytime. Be sure to check out my other socials that are popping up in the chat right now, including my 2 YouTube channels, one for my ASMR tales and the other for my Twitch VODs, and my Blue Sky, my Insta, and my TikTok. I have an ongoing 24/7 broadcast over on my main YouTube channel, which is a collection of ASMR tales and creepypasta narrations, so be sure to check that out and give it some love. And also, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Logan. It always means a lot whenever a close friend of mine decides to come by my streams, so thank you so much for lurking. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and hopefully you can drop by again soon. You know, it always makes me happy to see you. Okay, so who's currently live, and we can go say hello. Kraken is playing more Mass Effect, so of course we gotta go and say hi. Oh, sorry, Weaver. I just saw that just as I was clicking to head over to Kraken. So put a pin in that and we'll save that for next time. But thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. I will see you on Friday for more Cage of Roses, a beautiful sapphic vampire visual novel that we're playing. It's taken a really interesting turn and I'm curious to see what happens next. So hopefully you can all join me for that. But in either way, thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week. And remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, stay wicked and wonderful. Good night, my lovelies.